David's a bitch.
Attention Iraqi citizens. Your friendly occupiers are now offering up to $200,000. For any information you can provide about 3 missing GIs and Dick Cheney's wallet.
Yeah, it must have fell out of my pants, if you will.
Send smoke signals now for your chance to win up to $200,000. $200,000.
That's up to $200,000. Reward money will be distributed according to size, shape, and gender of GIs. The entire amount will be rewarded for the retrieval of Dick Cheney's wallet, and the GIs will be on their own. Iraqi residents may be subject to claim torture, and credit restrictions may apply. America reserves the right to lie and not pay anything. Offer ends at the beginning of the next marginalized news cycle. Not available in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, or any stan, including Alienstan. Not accountable to any law.
Now, what about Stan Major? It's 7:01 at 560 WQAM. Happy day after Memorial Day, and George said he had a sensational time yesterday.
Yeah, boy, it was fun.
And guess what?
What?
Next Wednesday, you'll be on vacation, but we got a Marlin game. 12:30. Josh Cordes was just in there, and he said he wouldn't fill in for you unless we had at least one Marlin game.
Well, glad we could accommodate.
An early exit, and so I looked it up, and then he went through a whole song and dance about he wants to take his Russian girlfriend and go to Amsterdam.
Right.
It's too expensive.
Right.
Doesn't everybody want to go to Amsterdam?
I do.
Yeah, you do. You can't afford to go. He wants to go. Everybody wants to go to Amsterdam, but it's too expensive. And I said, well, good luck to you. So I looked up, to see how much, and it's too much. And don't start looking at me.
I'm not looking at you.
I could, for what I lost on Saturday at Fallsview and Niagara Falls, I could have sent you and him and his Russian girlfriend to Amsterdam. Could have paid for the airfare, could have paid for the hotel, and a few bucks for funny money. Too late now. So anyway, I got two skeptics there. Chris and Josh Cordes are laughing up their sleeve. They don't think that I'm going to stop going to Woodbine and Fallsview and stuff like that. Well, I don't really care. See, the thing with the sugar, that's different. That's an addiction. I'm not addicted to gambling. A lot of people are. I'm not. You don't believe it either?
No.
Didn't go yesterday.
Okay. There's one day in a row.
About? Won't go tomorrow. No Woodbine Wednesday tomorrow. Enough with that.
I mean, but I don't think it's a problem, see, so I'm not going to give you a hard time about it.
What do you mean by that?
I think it's just a fun, it's a hobby, it's a diversion, whatever.
It's not fun anymore.
Okay,
it's not fun. Yeah. When you know you have no chance, how can it be fun?
Right. Well, at that point, that's when you stop.
That's what I just got through telling you. No mas, baby, no more. I don't want to go through a whole song and dance. It won't change my life. I didn't lose so much money that it's going to I'm going to miss any meals or anything like that. But it's not fun. It's a sucker thing, you know. A fool and his money are soon farted. Oh, let's talk about Ethan Skolnick farting again or dropping the bomb. Seriously, I heard a half an hour of that, and I just, I'm thinking to myself, do I really have to come back to work today, or is this maybe another holiday that nobody told me about? Is it like Shavuos Part 2? I mean, Jesus, God almighty. How is that gay? I thought that was like a segment they did once a week. I guess that's the whole show now, right?
Well, it's Tuesdays when they do it, but maybe they do it for the whole show. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's the new show. Are you
gay? If
you do this, are you
gay?
If you do that,
gay.
And who gives a crap when you come right down to it? But
gay
so
people.
I guess Ethan Skolnick is.
Gay.
And, of course, I told you that already without hearing that gross story about somebody dropping a bomb. See, they can talk about farts all morning long on that show. That's okay. But if we played one, then the world's going to come crashing down on our heads.
Right.
Speaking of the world crashing down on your head, 8 U.S. troops killed yesterday on Memorial Day, appropriately enough.
But who's counting?
That's right. An attack in Iraq's Diyala province, U.S. military officials said. And today, 3 people kidnapped from an Iraq Finance Ministry building on Palestine Street in north-central Baghdad. Meanwhile, 2 car bombs rocked separate areas of Baghdad today, killing at least 38. And it goes on and on and on. They're just numbers on a sheet of paper somewhere to most everybody. And the media doesn't give a crap. There's your illiterate president.
And I promise this to the people of Darfur.
Yeah, I promise that you ought to go over there and miss a few meals yourself. You bozo, you butcher, you murderer. I don't blame him anymore, though. We know he's crazy. Him and Cheney and the whole bunch. They're crazy people. The problem, and I told you this years ago, is that there's only one political party in America.
Right.
That's the problem. Republicans, Democrats, it's all pretty much the same. All a bunch of crooks, bunch of lunatics, spineless cowards. Even poor Cindy Sheehan, she's bailing out. And you know why she's bailing out? I'll get to that story in a minute. She's bailing out because nobody cares.
Right.
I mean, there's a few people that care. A handful of people show up to these gatherings, 800 here, 900 there. Nobody gives a crap. Because the American public has been desensitized to all this. They've just thrown in the towel and said, well, nothing we can do about it. What time is Dancing with the Stars going to be on? Speaking of stars, look who died, boy. Oh, wait, what happened to Bo Diddley? He's in Florida now. He had a stroke or something. Is he still alive?
I didn't see.
Bo Diddley, he's ill. He's moved to a Florida hospital, and that's the last I've seen about him. But anyway, Charles Nelson Riley is dead.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, anybody under the age of 100 is saying, who's that? Oh, just another queen. In fact, he'd have been, they should have talked about him when they were doing about the lilac candles this morning, or whatever that was. Ethan Skolnick dropping a bomb that smelled so bad. That was the show. At any rate, Charles Nelson Riley, the Tony Award winner, later became known for his ribald appearances on The Tonight Show and various game shows, has died. He was 76. Riley died Friday in L.A. of complications from pneumonia. His partner, Patrick Hughes, told the New York Times, partner, which is code for,
yay,
as if that was some secret, right?
Right.
Riley began his career in New York City, taking acting classes at a studio with Steve McQueen. There was more than one McQueen in that class. Geraldine Page and Hal Holbrook. In 1962, he appeared on Broadway as Bud Frump. In the original Broadway production of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, the role won Riley a Tony Award. He was nominated for a Tony again for playing Cornelius in Hello, Dolly. In 1997, he received another nomination for directing Julie Harris and Charles Durning in a revival of The Gin Game. After moving to Hollywood in the 60s, he had a recurring role as the nervous Claymore Gregg on the TV hit The Ghost and Mrs. Muir and was a featured guest on The Dean Martin Show. He gained fame by becoming what he described as a game show fixture in the 70s and 80s. He was a regular on programs like Match Game. Isn't that where we mostly know Charles from, Match Game?
That's right. That's what I mentioned.
And Hollywood Squares, often wearing giant glasses and colorful suits with ascots. His larger-than-life persona and affinity for double entendres also landed him on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson more than 95 times. Riley ruefully admitted his wild game show appearances adversely affected his acting career. You can't do anything else once you do game shows, he told The Advocate, the national game magazine, in 2001. You have no career. His final work was an autobiographical one-man show, Save It for the Stage, The Life of Riley, about his family life growing up in the Bronx. The title grew out of the fact that when he would act out as a child, his mother would often admonish him to save it for the stage. Oh, no. A drama queen. The stage show was made into the 2006 feature film called The Life of Riley. Riley's flamboyant TV persona was ahead of its time and sometimes stood in his way. He recalled a network executive telling him, they don't let queers on television. How do you like that?
Guess what?
Yeah, surprise. Hughes, his only immediate survivor, said Riley had been ill for more than a year. No memorial plans have been announced. There's that. Charles Nelson Riley dead. That would be a good poll sometime. The only problem is it's one of those dated things again, you know? Your favorite dead. Have we done that? Favorite dead TV game show panelist?
We could. See, the difference is things like that are timeless. We can.
I know. Chicken Neck would vote for, Dorothy Kilgallen. Here's George's poll from yesterday. We had a whopping 321 votes. Well, it was Memorial. First of all, let me just say two things. I'm sure glad that you used that poll. Sorry, Charlie, they can't all be good.
It's all right.
And number two is Memorial Day. So what do you expect?
Right. I mean, started it at like 9:30. When did you change it? 1:30?
What do you mean by that?
Because it was like close to 300 before the show ended.
Well, I changed it about 5 or 6.
Okay.
Are you trying to get defensive now? It was Memorial Day. It was a holiday, for Christ's sakes. What are you getting defensive about? Next thing you know, you're going to be farting real bad, and Chris is going to light a lilac candle. And then Bo Camper's going to come in and say, oh, I was there. Whoa, that makes you gay. I can't deal with it. I can't stand it. I can't emotionally and mentally deal with the fact that they're doing what they're doing. Here's the poll from Georgia yesterday, 321 votes. Who or what did you pick profanity up from? Friends, 228. Parents, 34. Gosh dang it. I don't use profanity, 13. Well, you know what? We don't believe you.
Right.
Damn it. Movies, 13. Siblings, 13. TV, 7. Well, what kind of effing profanity do you pick up from TV? Everything. Well, that's back in the day, when you could say crap on TV. Now you can only talk about people farting, but you sure can't make the sound. Comedians, 5. Other relatives, 4. Radio, 3. Right. As in Ducci Box.
Mm-hmm.
Books, 1. Magazines and newspapers, none. And music, none. Well, that's because we don't have no rap crowd in this audience. We had a bunch of rappers out there that would have a zillion votes.
Yeah, well, they already learned it before the music.
No, they didn't. You starting to pick on the rap crowd? I think I know what direction that's going in. I think it's got kind of like a racial thing to it. How about reading a book? Read a mother scratching book.
Not a magazine.
Not a magazine.
No, not a sports page.
Not a comic book. Right. Yeah, not the sports page. Read a book. Read a mother scratching book. I love that thing. I'm going to watch it all day today. 786 votes on the poll today. Wow, how do you like that? What's the worst form of entertainment? It's another one of Charlie B. and a much better poll. And I'm glad you picked that one. Always pick a crappy one and waste it on the holiday. Don't waste a good one on the holiday.
That's right.
That's a throwaway. 786, what's the worst form of entertainment? Chris is pleased to know that we're going to make 1,000 today. Not too much more than that. Rap music, 370. Speak of the devil, 370. Rap music, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Professional wrestling, 132. Sports talk radio is a very respectable third, 101. I voted for rap music, but boy, I sure easily could have voted for that.
I did.
The worst form of entertainment, 101. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. What about that Shula? What do you say about Saban? You know. Opera, 78. Made-for-TV movie, 47. I bet you that was a good one once upon a time. I must have missed it. Modern art, 32. And Broadway musicals, 26. With Charles Nelson Riley was also in Bye Bye Birdie. I just happen to know that, not that I ever saw it, or that I'm into musicals. Okay, that's bad for my image.
Gay.
But nevertheless. Bye Bye Birdie. And he was also in something. Maybe Bye Bye Birdie was Florence Henderson before she was doing the Weston Oil and was on the Brady Bunch. Florence Henderson.
Yeah.
She's going to be doing the Martha Ray spots for the Denture Cream pretty soon,
I
would think.
Yeah.
12 minutes after 10 at QAM, here's the schedule on a Tuesday. We're back to it now. The holiday's over. The party's over, baby. Although for some of us, the party's just beginning because it's almost June. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Mo Green said? Call him when the party started. Mad Dog at 2, Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together, 4 to 5. Hank Goldberg, solo, 5 to 7. Then you got Miami Dolphins All Access at 7 o'clock. Wow, I'm going to be sure and miss that. 7:30, it's Dolphins on deck. Some fish. Marlins on deck. The Marlins at the Cubs at 8:05. And then game night with Eddie K after the Marlin and Cub game.
Pair of exploding balls.
Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Lena Horne and Sheriff Clark are dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, New Yorkers love the Puerto Ricans 'cause it's very chic. Step up and shake the hand of someone you can't stand. You can tolerate him if you try. Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, it's National Everyone Smile at One Anotherhood Week. Be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Be grateful that it doesn't last all year.
10:19 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday. Time to get back at it, baby. All you people have been screwing off on a holiday weekend and getting drunk, doing stuff like that. Time to get back to your nose to the grindstone, right?
Right.
I don't really feel like it. I was thinking yesterday, I said this back about a year and a half ago when Jolly Joe first showed his fat ass on the scene. And I remember saying at the time, very shortly after he showed up, I said, if these people are on the payroll across the street, or for somebody who was out to destroy this radio station, they couldn't have done a better job under any circumstances.
I remember you saying that.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like it was sabotage.
Sure.
And here we are a year and a half later, and I'm thinking, good golly, Miss Molly, they are doing a heck of a job, Brownie, Hound.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. And so I have to, pick myself up by my fat bootstraps every day and, just keep plodding ahead. But I just wonder What's it all about, Alfie, huh? I mean, there had to be at least a half an hour about Ethan Skolnick dropping a bomb, an SDBM or whatever the hell it was. I couldn't figure whether it was solid or animal, vegetable, or mineral, what it was.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew was it smelled real bad, and it came from that part of the body. And he went out and got some lilac candles and brought them in the room, and also some potpourri and stuff like that, and made him
gay.
Whatever.
Some poopery?
Some poopery, yeah. I thought just about everybody, whether you're
gay
or straight or in between or undecided, everybody uses some kind of air freshener, don't they?
Well, especially if they're cutting them all the time, yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about if they're cutting them all the time. I think what we ought to do is cut and run from these sports writers who are destroying WQAM. That's what we ought to do, is cut bait. What do they say?
Fish or cut bait.
Fish or cut bait. That's the saying, right. God almighty. Between Alex Marvez, and they were talking about all these guys this morning, too. Alex Marvez and this one and that one, and, It's like the station's been taken over by a bunch of crappy sports writers, which nobody reads their columns anyway. Who the hell reads the newspaper? Do you read any? Well,
are you kidding me? I wouldn't dirty my fingers with it.
Those columns by Michael Holdemayo, and we don't even have him on, do we? He's probably on across the street. It's just disheartening, is what it is. If you're paying somebody to do a radio show, why the hell do you need? If they're not competent to do the show, what are you paying them for? You follow what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
If they're supposed to be the experts...
It's good.
Oh, and look what we have on Wednesday from 2 to 4. We have Evan Cohen. Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, let me take a look at this schedule. Wait a minute. We get into this time of the year when Mad Dog hardly works. I hate that kind of stuff. And Friday, Geldy. Oh, my God.
All of these things.
Wow. And look at that. Possible UM Baseball Super Regional, it says here on Friday. Oh, hopefully starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, what does that mean? They're going to put UM Baseball on in the middle of the day again like they have done before? Oh, I don't even know what the hell that's all about. I thought that was all over with the college baseball. I thought they already had the College World Series and all that stuff. Didn't they have that, Chris?
No.
They did not?
No, they had the ACC tournament.
You're crazy. You're a crazy person. Are you sure?
Yes.
Possible super regional. Maybe it'll be like 11 o'clock in the morning, to which I would say, no, don't do it. Don't do it, because then it'll be the same thing that happened to us before when we had that UM basketball on there. But that's okay. If UM's in it, man, we got it. If it's tiddlywinks, if it's the old, billiards, pocket pool, whatever the hell it is, if UM's doing it, man, we'll put it on the air. And Clarence will be there doing the blow-by-blow. You can be sure of that. Cindy Sheehan threw in the towel. She said she gave up. That's sad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Cindy Sheehan, the California mother, became an anti-war leader after her son was killed in Iraq, declared yesterday she was walking away from the peace movement. She said her son died for nothing. And as usual, she's right on target. She's right. All these people that are dying over there are human sacrifice. They are dying for absolutely nothing. And this bunch of lunatics, they ought to be on death row right now. They ought to be like in federal prison, what they've done. And Nancy Pelosi says impeachment's off the table, and bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-boop. You got no parties in America. I said we have one party. We don't have any party. The only party you have are like yesterday and on the 4th of July and Labor Day.
Party.
Right. And on the Getchke holidays like Christmas and like that. That's a party. But other than that, politically, it just sucks.
Well, call me when the party starts.
Yeah, that's right. Sheehan achieved national attention when she camped outside President Bush's home in Crawford, Texas throughout August of 2005 to demand a meeting with the president over her son's death. While Bush ignored her, the vigil made her one of the most prominent figures among opponents of the war. But in a web diary posted to the liberal online community Daily Kos yesterday, Sheehan said she was exhausted by the personal, financial, and emotional toll of the past 2 years. She's given up. She wrote that she's disillusioned by the failure of Democratic politicians to bring the unpopular war to an end and tired of a peace movement she said often puts personal egos above peace and human life. Casey Sheehan, a 24-year-old Army specialist, was killed in April 2004 battle in Baghdad. His death prompted his mother to found Gold Star Families for Peace. But in her 1,200-word letter titled Good Riddance, Attention, Horror, Sheehan announced that her son did indeed die for nothing. I've tried ever since he died to make his sacrifice meaningful, she wrote. Casey died for a country which cares more about who'll be next American Idol than how many people will be killed the next few months while Democrats and Republicans play politics with human lives. It is so painful to me to know that I bought into the system for so many years, and Casey paid the price for that allegiance. I failed my boy, and that hurts the most. Cindy Sheehan's sister, Dee Dee Miller told CNN that the group would continue working for humanitarian causes, but drop its involvement in the anti-war movement. As for her sister's letter, Miller said she cried for quite a bit after writing it. Sheehan warned that the U.S. was becoming a fascist corporate wasteland and that one-time allies among Bush's Democratic opposition turned on her when she began trying to hold him accountable for bringing the 4-year-old war to a close. In the meantime, she said her anti-war activism had cost her marriage, that she had put the survivor's benefits paid for her son's death and all her speaking and booking fees into the cause, and that she now owed extensive medical bills. I'm going to take whatever I have left and go home, she wrote. I'm going to go home and be a mother to my surviving children and try to regain some of what I've lost. I'll try to maintain and nurture some very positive relationships that I found on the journey that I was forced into when Casey died and try to repair some of the ones that have fallen apart since I began this single-minded crusade to try and change a paradigm that is now, I'm afraid, carved in immovable, unbendable, and rigidly mendacious marble. Wow.
It's a lot of words. Big ones.
It's a lot of words. They're rigidly mendacious marble. Poor Cindy, she gave it her best shot and nobody gives a crap, including most of the Democrats. Okay, they're busy, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, and they got wimps like Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, all of these wimps. And, of course, Swillery, she's running around, well, I was against it before I was for it, and I was for it before I was... All that other waffle crap, man. They ought to open up the Waffle House, Democrats, because that's what they do best. First it was Kerry waffling. 844 votes. I'm not going to get excited about it because nobody cares, you know?
Right.
I'd rather hear about Ethan Skolnick farting and lighting lilac candles in his house.
I got some candles.
I'd like to know why the hell Bo Camper was there over at Ethan Skolnick's house in the first place, huh? What were you doing there, Kimba?
You fairy.
Jesus. 844, the worst form of entertainment is rap music, 402. Rap music's going to win hands down your pants, even if your pants are down to your ankles, man. These kids now, man, I know it's been going on for years, but now it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're wearing their pants down like around their ankles, knees. For Christ's sake. Knees, yeah. Forget about that.
Talking
and
about
their underwears are like just sticking right out.
Mm-hmm.
Professional, and of course if they're ugly, that's not a good thing. Professional wrestling, 140. Sports Talk Radio, 108. The worst form of entertainment, 108 people say that. Wow. What an indictment that is. And look who's doing his icy hot spot on my TV right now. Oh, God. Stop it before it continues. Opera 83, made-for-TV movie 52, modern art 32, and Broadway musicals like Bye Bye Birdie 27.
Neil Young.
Farewell, farewell, eat monkey brains in Helen. Now that you're dead, that leaves a few extra meals for us to eat, and we can drill your foot for hot gas.
You fairy.
I hope a tree grows through your ass.
Rectum.
In your wide load casket. That's when less hate monger will no longer see on pundit shows with all those white cracker media hoes. The Lord can't help you now as the crane lowers you down into your flaming pit of hate. You crooked turd. We're gonna take a dinky winky on your grave.
Oh my God.
And I'll miss composting more than you any day. Keep the casket door wide open for Pat Robertson, so you're both buried face to face.
Or ass to ass would be so much preferable. 1032, one good ass deserves another. That's what, what's her name said, Jennifer Connelly.
Right.
Let's watch that again. In fact, let's play the audio during the show today, the whole movie.
Let's do it now.
All right. Speaking of America and the fact that it's become an outdoor insane asylum, a disgruntled customer shot a cashier at Wendy's early this morning. You know, I hate to say it, because I do like Wendy's, the food anyway, as compared to the other fast food joints. I like Wendy's, I don't know, maybe Taco Bell the best and then Wendy's. Would you agree with that or not?
Okay, well, they're different, so it's hard to compare. But as far as burger places, Wendy's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, by far. I love their food. But going through the drive-thru of Wendy's over the years has been an experience that I could write a book about. I mean, just, you know. And there are times when you, and especially as you start driving away and you've learned to open up the sack and look in there and, I didn't order any of this. There isn't anything even related to what I ordered in this bag. You idiot, you moron, you
fairy.
Right. It happened at 12:20 this morning, right after midnight, at 181 Northwest 27th Avenue, said Carlos Mora, a Dade police spokesman. The details of the incident are unclear. This is from the Herald, just hot off the press. But police know that the customer got into a verbal dispute with the cashier. The dispute resulted in, I wanted fries with that, you moron! The dispute resulted in the customer shooting several times at the cashier. The cashier was struck in the arm, was taken to the Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial. He'll recover. He'll be fine. He was only struck in the arm, but I guess the customer was really pissed off because he shot at him several times. And you know why? Because he had a gun. Because it's the American effing way. Don't mess with my gun. I got a piece, baby, and I'm pissed off, and I'm going to blow your crap away because you put mayo on my burger. You idiot, you fair. Right. How you like that?
Mm-hmm.
See, so we've graduated now from shooting somebody because they took your parking spot, which, you know, they got some stinking nerve taking your parking spot. You've been driving round and round and round looking, and you finally find a nice spot, and you back up right, and all of a sudden some jackass comes wheeling in there right in front of you and cuts you off and pulls on that spot. Sure. I would say, blow him away, you know. Oh, man, that's where it's at. 867 on the poll. Chris, you're safe. We'll get over 1,000 a day.
Okay, cool.
You don't care. You'd rather talk about Ethan Skolnick and about how he farts a lot or whatever.
No, I can say that the poll is much more important than that.
I mean, seriously, is this what we've been reduced to? Is that this station has been kidnapped by the flunky sports writers of South Florida? Okay, Andrew Rosenhaus, Steenberg, Schwartz, Krantz. Am I right? They're all over the station now. Even Mandich has got these people on the air now. Who the hell did he have on? He had Dave Hyde on a few days ago, and I'm thinking to myself, isn't this the same Jim Mandich used to say, no guests? Guests suck. All right. Yeah, that's what he used to say. Guests are a killer. And he's right. It's narrow. It's taking narrowcasting and slicing up the pie even that much more. It'd be like taking a small slice of pecan pie and then slicing it about 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To the point where you got like one little pecan and maybe a little bit of something. Whatever they put in there. What is that, honey, molasses?
Sure, all of it. Your ass.
What do they put in pecan pie?
You're asking me?
Rich, man. Huh?
Yeah. Pecans, sugar, and crust.
Well, there's got to be more than that.
I'm sure there is, but that's all I can taste.
Man. Oh, I'm thinking honey or molasses. Anyway, it's too rich. No more crap, baby. No more gambling. I'm going to tell you right now, see, slots could be fun if you had a chance. And I've had my days. You know, I've had my good moments and my winning days. But generally speaking, and it's not just the slots part of it. It's gambling in general. A fool and his money are soon farted, okay? And now the new deal is that at Fallsview, they took what really killed me. I should have known right off the bat. I should have left. The dollar Wheel of Fortune carousel I used to play and do pretty well at, that's gone. It's been replaced by the newfangled. See, everything now has to have like a lot of bells and whistles and noises, and it's got to be big, and it's got to be allegedly 1 penny machine, 2 penny machine. The only problem is you got to play 40 credits to get to spin. And you want to play as many lines as possible, so that's like, instead of 1 penny, it's like $2. It's 200 pennies if you play 40 times 5 lines.
Okay.
And all the people are sitting around. They've all got your own little computer screen there, and you keep hitting it. And there's Pat, and there's Vanna, and and then all of a sudden somebody gets the spin, and the thing in the middle makes all the noise, and it's whirring around, and the thing is spinning and spinning, and the crowd is going, big money, big, And then finally I get times 10,000 it lands on for me. See, the only person that gets the spin is whoever got it on their machine. And everybody else watches and thinks, you bastard, And I get the spin, and it lands on 10,000 times whatever you got on there. Well, I had 3 lines I'd played, so it's 10,000 times 3 credits. So it's 30,000 I got. Well, 30,000 times a penny is $300.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
No, it's not pretty big. Are you a crazy person or what?
Yes.
That's pretty big, $300. When you're in a casino, man, $300, you could lose that faster than Ethan Skolnick could flush the toilet and bring out his potpourri. Oh, man. So that's what that was all about. See, I keep thinking it was Monday because I didn't work yesterday. Silly me, I should have realized it was Gay Tuesday, I mean, they dropped the square table. Didn't somebody send them the message that this also is killing them, this desperate contrived? Does it make you gay, and does anybody really care, okay? That's the operative question. Does anybody care if you're gay? See, I don't really give a crap, Do you give a crap?
About what?
About any of that. About whether Ethan Skolnick is gay because he uses lilac potpourri.
Let me tell you something. You say the name Ethan Skolnick, my brain checks out and takes 5 minutes to come back.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what's going on here. So
that's what I'm trying to tell you. All
Chris.
these flunky sports writers that nobody... Like Alex Marvez. Who and what in God's name is a freaking Alex Marvez? What is he?
Sports writer.
So is everybody else. How many thousand sports writers we got in this town now?
About 30, man.
30,000 freaking sports writers, and every one of them is on this station now. Every one of them is doing live spots, and every one of them is supposedly filling in the expertise that our high-paid sports nerds are supposed to be passing along, you know? It's like with these Triple Crown races, and we have Dave Johnson every year, and you want to know why? Because I don't know a damn thing about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't pretend to know anything about it. You know, I sit there and I read a little bit on the Internet, so I have some idea what I'm talking about, the names of the horses, a couple of jockeys, whatever, and then he comes on, he shares his expertise, you know. And how often do we do that? We do that 3 times a year. For about, what is he on, like 7 or 8 minutes each time?
What?
Dave Johnson. Remember Dave?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I haven't gotten back from that last Ethan Skolnick and the other guy.
You better start learning your sports writers, mister, because that's the bread and butter of QAM. That's what's taking us right now.
No, it isn't.
Of that, you know something? I think there was a real metaphor involved in that whole story there about going down the toilet.
Yeah.
I think there was some message in there.
Right.
Remember that song, Message in a Bottle? Remember that?
Sure, Police.
Message in the toilet replaces message in a bottle. Message in the turlet. As Archie Bunker would say, boy, it's really a shame that he died, you know. Charles Nelson Riley, you know, I can live with that. But Archie O'Connor. Message in a bottle. That's the Police.
Yes, it is.
Police. Call the police. 883 on the poll. We're going to keep a real close track on that poll today. Why? Because I feel like it. Because otherwise, if I don't do that, I'll talk about Ethan Skolnick a lot, you know. Who's a whiny voice sports nerd writer who doesn't belong on the radio, okay? Just like a lot of other people that we put on the air, he doesn't belong on the air. Oh, well, see, I shouldn't be doing this. Do you think it's because I lost all that money on Saturday? It's not going to change my life. I had a bad day in Niagara, man. You haven't got a chance. They run these programs, man.
Right.
And of course, when you go to a place that's a tourist trap like Vegas or Niagara Falls, then they got those things tamped down. I will say this, Saturday night, boy, that place was jam-packed. And you know who was in there? All these young couples, man.
Great.
All these young people and young couples, like, 19, 20. You got to be 19 to get it. What?
I said sweet.
It was sweet, all right. Believe you me, sweet. Wow. Rhymes with greet and meet and neat and tweet.
Did you meet some meat?
No, I did not, but I sure would like to have. I was wandering around with my jaw down to my kneecap, thinking, like that. Oh, good golly. Where did these people come from, and where can I find them again? Good God. Now, that was almost worth the price of admission right there, but not quite. I told you the figure how much I lost, didn't I?
No.
No, Chris will tell you. I told him. I don't want to put it on the air. I mean, look, there are people out there who've lost more than that, but I never had that bad of a... This was in 24 hours.
Wow.
And let me say it again. I could have sent you and Josh Cordes and Chris and Josh's girlfriend to Amsterdam. You have to fly, you know...
Wow, he just told me.
Cattle class, but that would be okay.
That's a lot of money. For some of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, for me, it wasn't a lot of money. It was still a lot of money. It was still a significant amount. And when you feel that you have no chance, not little chance, but no chance.
I think the object of those places is to make money, if I'm not mistaken.
The object of those places is called robbery. It's called stealing. Stealing, and then they lie a lot. Oh, there's no such things as running programs. Yeah, right. Sure there isn't. It's called the coma program. Believe me, I know when it's in that. When you keep hitting that button and nothing happens, baby. It's just a one-way street. Anyway, I'm all done with that, even though you don't believe me.
No, I don't.
A little while ago, you said maybe you believe me. Now,
I don't think I did.
You're just piling on, that's all. In football, they call it piling on, okay? I'm going to throw the flag and give you a 15-yarder. And a date with Ethan Skolnick. How do you like that? That's a fate worse than death, because I hear he farts a lot, like Dave Lamont.
I got scented candles in here.
Fake foreplay. Tonight on Walmart ER.
Doctor, his heart rate is falling.
Damn it! Just like the prices around here. Clear!
Oh, you saved his life and some money.
Good job, people. We all deserve smiley face stickers for this one.
Walmart ER. It's code blue in aisle 2.
What do we got?
Young man with a gunshot wound.
Damn these street gangs.
Actually, doctor, it was an accidental shooting in our firearms department.
Oh, give me 4 pints of AB negative and clean up in sporting goods. Clean up in sporting goods.
Walmart ER. Always low prices. Always high drama.
1048 at 560 WQAM. You asked for it and you got it, courtesy of your close personal friend Brandon. Here's the pecan pie recipe.
All right. Probably not as good as
pie
possum
shell,
pie.
you got your pecan pieces, 4 eggs, half a cup of sugar, half a cup of light brown sugar, quarter of a cup of Steen's 100% pure cane syrup, quarter of a cup of light corn syrup, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, just a pinch, half a stick of butter, and a tablespoon of flour. All of these things.
All for me.
God, yeah. Not that I don't like pecan pie, but it is so rich, man.
Too
It's
sweet.
Nauseating.
Too much.
Oh, sickeningly sweet, you know? Like Ethan Skolnick.
What?
Hey, listen, if they can do it for all that time, I can do it too, you know?
What, lose the audience?
Yes, well, they've already done that. And I think we're well in the process anyway. Listen, like I told you before, when the Titanic went down, even the good swimmers drowned too, okay? Just keep that in mind. 905 votes. Are you eating something now? Is that the deal?
You know it.
Howie's.
You know it. Bacon.
Oh. I'm going to go make some more. I already had my bacon. I'm not faking. I'm going to make some more during the next break just because you influenced me. That's all right. It's good. It's good for you. It's got nitrites and nitrates, which will kill me. 905 votes. What's the worst form of entertainment? Well, we're going to get to that 1,000 pretty easy today. I'm pleased with that. I'm not too pleased with Jolly Joe. And he's like a one-man decimation. You know, we can talk all we want about Joyce and about Clarence being the little sports nerd, silly person, but he's enabling this to all go on. He's the enabler, baby.
I think
it's like a guy that gives a drug addict money so he can go out and buy more drugs. That's basically what this guy's doing.
He likes
what?
it. He likes it.
He likes it? He likes what?
Spending a lot of money for low ratings.
All right. Let's hear it. George comes up with an outstanding line. Spending lots of money and getting nothing back for it. Good. What's the worst form of entertainment? Rap music, 422. Let's start rapping it, baby. Professional wrestling, 155. Sports talk radio, 113. A very rock-solid third place.
Rock solid.
Opera, 88. Made-for-TV movie, 58. Modern art, 33. Broadway musicals has got...
About 30, man.
And reality TV, 13. Out of 912. Somebody sent in dog fighting. I mean, yeah, right. That's a form of entertainment?
Sure.
No, it is not.
Going to a match this afternoon.
How about cockfighting?
That too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can use the same ring, yeah.
How about bullfighting? You know,
sure.
I mean, you can put all that crap on there if you want to, just to put a lot of other choices on the poll. I think that poll is just fine as GI wine, and the fact that it's got 912 votes on there, I think is just, what's wrong with that? Oh, speaking of, does it make you gay? Gay or not gay? Australian pub bars heterosexuals, and I think that it's long overdue, man. Long overdue. All you straight people, man, we're tired of it. A gay pub in the city of Melbourne, Australia, has won the right to ban heterosexuals, the first time such legislation has been passed in Australia, down under. The Victorian State Civil Administrative Tribunal ruled the Peel Hotel could ban patrons based on their sexual orientation. The pub's management said the move would stop groups of heterosexual men and women abusing gay people. Civil liberties groups have supported the decision. How do you like that? The tribunal's president said groups of straight women found homosexual men entertaining, but that such attention was dehumanizing. The BBC's Phil Mercer in Sydney says, entertaining as in campy and like, let's go laugh at them, make fun, and spray a bunch of lilac scent around the place. Managers complained raucous hen nights and stag parties created a poisonous atmosphere for its gay clientele. Hen nights.
Stag hag nights.
If I can limit the number of heterosexuals entering the Peel, then that helps me keep the safe balance, the hotel manager, Tom McFeely, told Australian radio, according to the Reuters news agency. Tom McFeely, as in touchy-feely. His partner's probably Tom McTouchy. He said when Melbourne had 2,000 venues catering for heterosexuals, his was the only bar aimed exclusively at gay men. How do you like that? Can you believe that?
Good for them.
In Melbourne, I thought Australia was loaded with...
gay.
Wow. Civil liberties group said homosexuals should be allowed to relax in places without fear of bullying or intimidation. Australia's equal opportunity law prevents discrimination based on race, religion, or sexuality. But, however, the Victorian State Civil Administrative Tribunal said they could ban heterosexuals from going in their joint. How do you like that?
Fine.
Yeah, I think what goes around comes around. I think payback is a bitch.
See, anybody, who's straight, who doesn't have an ulterior motive won't be going in there anyway.
Who claims to be straight.
Exactly.
Oh, I know so many of those people, man.
Uh-huh.
I'm just curious,
Right.
I just want to go in there curious.
Yeah.
No, you're not curious.
Gay.
You're not fooling me. Boy, is there an echo in here or what?
Mm-hmm. Gay.
Well, that seems to be the topic. It's Gay Tuesday on QAM.
Apparently, I didn't get the memo.
You don't need to have a memo. When you better start learning your sports writers, mister. When you're talking Ethan Skolnick, you're talking
gay.
Fag. I have no idea. He sounds like, screamer.
Well, he's a GOP watcher, isn't he?
A what?
GOP, games other people play,
A GOP watcher?
Some men like to play games.
A guy watcher, yeah.
And some men like to watch.
Especially when the showers are going on, He likes watch. How about those ducks, by the way? I bet you George was up late last night watching the game.
Huh?
How about that Robbie Niedermeyer? Now, even you know who that was, right?
Me?
Robbie
Some hockey
Niedermeyer.
guy?
He played for your Florida Panthers, right? He was like Jeff Rimmer's unofficial stepson.
Yeah. He would play
I loved
games.
with Robbie Niedermeyer, and of course I picked up the tab because the Rimmers were there too at Chili's. You know Chili's on Sunrise there across from the Sawgrass.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, see that was the one thing with Rimmer, man. I got to take a lot of people to meals, and of course I always picked up the tab, including people I didn't even really know. Well, I mean I knew who he was. He's a nice kid, Robbie Niedermeyer from Medicine Hat.
Right next to Moose Jaw.
Right, not far from Red Deer, no doubt. I don't know where those places are, and I don't want to know. Anywhere you go in North America, man, there's plenty of rednecks all over the place. Vice President Dick Cheney, speaking of rednecks, criticized the notion of applying the Geneva Conventions to individuals captured in the course of the war on terrorism in a Saturday commencement address at the U.S. Military Academy in West Point. Capture one of these killers, he'll be quick to demand the protections of the Geneva Convention and the Constitution of the U.S., the Vice President said. Yet when they wage attacks or take captives, their delicate sensibilities seem to fall away. Cheney delivered the remarks in the context of moral and ethical lessons. Oh, yeah. If anybody's going to give me a speech on morals and ethics, baby, it's going to be Dick Cheney. He delivered the remarks in the context of moral and ethical lessons that the graduating cadets at West Point had learned in the course of their study. Right. You've lived by a code of honor and internalized that code as West Point men and women always do, he said. As Army officers on duty in the war on terror, you'll now face enemies who oppose and despise everything you know to be right, every notion of upright conduct and character, and every belief you consider worth fighting for and living for, like all those dead people we're killing and slaughtering and butchering in Iraq. Recently, West Point instructors have complained of the difficulty of persuading Army cadets to adhere to the principles of the Geneva Conventions in the war on terrorism. A February article in the New Yorker highlighted a dialogue on the problem between West Point's dean and Joel Cernow, president of the hit Fox TV program 24. This past November, U.S. Army Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, dean of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, flew to Southern California to meet with the creative team behind 24, wrote Jane Mayer in the magazine. Finnegan, who is a lawyer, has for a number of years taught course on the laws of war to West Point seniors, cadets who would soon be commanders in the battlefields of Iraq and Afghanistan. He always tries, he said, to get his students to sort out not just what is legal, but what is right. However, it's become increasingly hard to convince some cadets that America had to respect the rule of law and human rights even when the terrorists did not. One reason for the growing resistance he suggested, was misperception spread by 24, which is exceptionally popular with his students. As he told me, the kids see it and say, if torture is wrong, what about 24? Let's go torture some people and kill some people and butcher some people and poke their eyes out and yank their arms off and stuff like that. If it happens to them, it'll be good. If it happens to us, it'll be bad. But it will happen. 8 more dead on Memorial Day. Isn't that kind of ironic? In Iraq?
Sure.
And Cindy Sheehan drops out. There's just, America's lost, baby. I told you that a long time ago. Just like I told you that the AM radio was dead. And in fact, radio in general is dead. It's done. Finished. And we got guys in there who I guess they've been appointed by God to approve it,
All right.
Prove that I'm right. They came in there and heck of a job, Joe. Heck of a job, man. Fat ass Joe. Ethan Skolnick and Lilac Candles and Poo-Pourri. I think they should call it that because it does cover it up pretty good.
Yeah, I got a nice Apple Macintosh candle myself.
Do you really?
Sure.
I mean, something, and they were arguing about where do you buy these. In other words, you have to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. No, you go to like the Walgreens, okay? You can go to any store. You can go to a 7-Eleven store and buy a scented candle, for Christ's sake. You go into Publix, for crying out loud, Bo Camper. Get out of the house a little bit more and quit hanging out at Ethan Skolnick's house. Because people are going to start seeing you on the street and go, hey, Kimba, you fairy. Like that. And, of course, you'll step on them and they won't say it again.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Put your hands in front, pull upon your zipper, loosen up your pants, and drop them to the floor. Slowly as you can, please remove your t-shirt, so that you'll stay real cool while I get real hot.
Oh my God.
Now just remove those hooks and back with that old familiar snap. Yeah, you got something gravity defying. I'm dying. Ooh, ooh, I feel a wild night is coming.
See, during the break, I auditioned that as opposed to going out and making that bacon. But, you know,
good.
What's more important, playing a bit that we haven't played in years. And actually, we can play it. Even though at the end he goes, which sounds awfully suggestive to me, Joyce. You idiot, you bitch, you
fairy.
Impediment to our success and our enjoyment of life. I think we ought to sue her ass, you know?
All right, and the rest of her, too.
No, just her ass. I think that, you know, that'll cover most of the territory. 938 votes on that poll. You see that they flashed it on there very briefly on CNN before they show us these starving folks in Sudan, Darfur, which they keep calling it Darfur. I don't know why they say Darfur, because that's not, but at any rate. And in the meantime, they flashed on just before that, dozens killed in bombings in all over Baghdad today. Dozens. They're still counting the bodies, body parts, stuff like that. So we can't give you like a number, not that anybody really cares, but dozens. They didn't tell us like a couple of dozen or a few dozen or several dozen or
about
30 dozen. And there's your bozo.
The United Nations believe that President Bashir...
You know something? I look at him and I don't know whether to cry or laugh or just blow myself up with a grenade. I don't know what the hell to do anymore.
You could scream.
Put that grenade in my mouth and pull a pin out. As Tommy Kramer said. Wasn't that his name, Tommy Kramer?
That was his name.
He was the... What was he? He was
the talent coach. That was his title.
He was the talent coach for Ron and Ron.
Right.
And the Ron and Ron radio network. I'm going to tell you something. It didn't help. Didn't help. Tommy Kramer, who told us every day that he never did, when everybody else was doing drugs, he wasn't doing drugs. You know something, Tommy? Maybe it would have helped. Couldn't have hurt that show, I'll tell you that. Former Bush Chief of Staff at the University of Massachusetts commencement ceremony. Andrew Card, President George W. Bush's former Chief of Staff, was showered with a chorus of boos and catcalls from students and faculty at the University of Massachusetts while receiving an honorary degree on Friday. Protesters who caught the embarrassing scene on video, and if you go to our website and check this story out, you can see the video, attached anti-Card signs to their robes and drowned out Provost Charlena Seymour's remarks about Card's so-called public service. Even faculty sitting on stage joined in on the action, screaming their disapproval while holding signs that read, Card, no honor, no degree. All right.
All right.
Card, obviously shaken by the commotion, managed a slight grin while Seymour spoke. He later raised his hand in recognition, but sat down without speaking at any length. How do I get out of here? After the ceremony, he refused to acknowledge the protest, only saying, it was a great honor and a privilege to be here. The university community was upset with the school's decision to award Card an honorary degree, given his involvement in spinning intelligence in the lead-up to the war in Iraq. Even before the ceremony began, 100 faculty members and students sang anti-war songs, handed out leaflets, and waved signs outside the arena where commencement was held. A graduate of the University of South Carolina, Card was a supporter of UMass in his days as a Massachusetts lawmaker. He served as Bush's chief of staff from the president's first inauguration through 2006, and the video that they show on the story was created by the protesters, and you can check it out at neilrogers.com. Take a puke at it. And also take a look at the video, and that's on our MySpace page from What's My Line with John Charles Daly and Steve Allen. I wouldn't be surprised if Dorothy Kilgallen is on there, Chicken-neck. 951 votes. This is the hour we go over 1,000. There's Barack Obama.
All Americans, and we'll say...
He's the great, not too dark hope. He's the only hope we got, baby. I mean, not that he's like Jesus on two legs or anything like that, but he's all we got. Oh, and there's Mitt Romney now. Where the hell did he come from all of a sudden?
Utah?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, this Mormon guy who's... what's his claim to fame?
Returning from Iran 2 years ago.
Oh, my God. Who the hell is he kidding? At any rate, it's what we got. We got two parties, man. We got the Republican Party and the Republican Party light, called the Democrats. That's all you got. Boy, a lot of stories in the news over the weekend. And I'm sure you might have covered some of these yesterday. Did you? I don't want to repeat.
No, I didn't hit on a lot of news stories.
I didn't want to repeat because then I'll get sued by Pat Riley just for saying that. Is he going to sue me? Hey, Pat, don't sue me just because I said three-peat, you jackass. Or as Hank would say, you jag-ass. The Reverend Grant Lynn Ford appeared on a recent Caribbean radio program hoping to improve relations between Jamaicans in South Florida and the gay and lesbian community. All right. That has got to be one of the funniest things I have ever read in my life.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Improve relations between Jamaicans and the gay and lesbian community. Instead, the pastor from Sunshine Cathedral, which recently started a gay and lesbian congregation in Jamaica, endured a hostile radio audience.
Yeah, man.
Jamaican callers chastised him for promoting homosexuality in their country. One caller said Ford would get a bullet through his head if he set foot on the island. In Jamaica, man. What surprised me was the violence of it, and saying it on public radio, Ford said, I probably wouldn't invite any of them in my next family. I think I might be the roasted pig, he said.
Yeah, man.
The incident highlights a clash of cultures between gays and lesbians in South Florida and some in the Jamaican-American community as reports of homophobic violence flow from the Caribbean island.
Yeah, man.
The tension is further fueled by anti-gay lyrics found in popular reggae music, which many gay and lesbians find offensive.
Yeah, man.
Jamaica's got more churches per square mile. Oh, and did you know this?
What?
Maybe that's why they're so bigoted, you know? Jamaica has got more churches per square mile than any country in the world.
That would explain it.
Wow. Maybe that explains some of the narrow-mindedness.
Yeah, and the poverty.
And brainwashing, right, and desperation, and ignorance. Its values and mores are rooted in traditional biblical teachings, making it socially conservative society.
Yeah, man.
Despite its international image as an easygoing tourist destination, homosexual acts are prohibited by law on the island and punishable by several years in prison.
Yeah, man.
Some expatriates in South Florida say they find the hatred that some Jamaicans have for gay and lesbians disturbing. People have a right to their religious views, but people don't have a right to wish harm and carry out acts of violence toward other people, said Marlon Hill, chairman of the Jamaican Diaspora Committee of the Southern USA. Respectfully, through your music and through your faith, express your religious beliefs, but no human being should be confronted with imminent physical danger by another human being.
Yeah, man.
The Reverend Carl Francis, a Jamaican pastor, who also appeared on WAVS AM 1170 with Ford, condemned homosexuality using biblical text, but he told the audience, and where have we heard this before, to hate the sinner, and say it again, hate the sin and love the sinner. That's what Anita Bryant used to say, all those other Getchkis, man. We hate the sin, but we love the sinner. We love you, we want to kill you, but we love you. We just don't like what you're doing. Violence isn't the solution, said Francis, pastor of the Living World Open Bible Church in Pembroke Pines. I think the answer is to pray for them, he said.
Yeah, man.
Sunshine Cathedral is an affiliate of the Metropolitan Community Church, is a Sarasota-based denomination that provides spiritual support for gays and lesbians worldwide. The church, you know that Brian Williams almost said Lesbanon one night last week?
Really?
I think he's been listening to the show. He was going to say something about Lebanon when they were acting up over there, you know how they act up? And he said Lebanon. He started to say lesbian. I know it. I'm out of here, Brian. The church recently established a Jamaican congregation in response to a 2004 Human Rights Watch report that alleged police and residents were persecuting gay sex workers and people with HIV/AIDS. Ford said the initiative is part of a 10-year plan to establish churches in diverse communities throughout South Florida and the Caribbean.
Yeah, man.
Jamaican Consul General Ricardo Alacock of Miami.
Excuse me?
Said he was unaware.
What word did you say?
Ricardo. Said he was unaware of rampant abuse of gays and lesbians on the island. Jamaican media attributed some of the recent killings to crimes of passion between lovers, he said. Right. Alacock also said Jamaican police aim to protect all citizens regardless of sexual orientation.
Yeah, man.
The government of Jamaica is committed to the preservation of human rights for every person, adult and child living in Jamaica, he be saying. But ministers at Sunshine Cathedral disagree. They've traveled to the country in recent months to challenge homophobic attitudes among government and religious officials. Ford said he travels with bodyguards for his protection. Church leader said the choir director for the Jamaican church recently was beaten to death because of his sexual orientation.
Gay.
Church members held his funeral April 8th at a church unaffiliated with the denomination. A crowd from a nearby community surrounded the building armed with machetes and knives. They threw objects through the church windows while the funeral was in process, according to the Jamaica Forum for Lesbians, All Sexual, and Gays. Homophobia cannot be allowed to disrupt sacred ceremonies that are meant to honor the departed and bring comfort to the bereaved, nor should violence be considered an acceptable way to demonstrate disapproval of any minority group, said the Reverend Darrell Watkins, Sunshine Cathedral's worship leader. But Bevan Earl, the radio host who asked for to appear on the call-in radio show, said anti-gay sentiments are common in Jamaica, and some who grew up there don't want to see more gays and lesbians in their homeland. I don't like seeing two men hugging and kissing, he said. It's sending the wrong message, and our children are going to be spoiled in the long run. How about even if the two guys are sticking their tongue down each other's throat? Then it's okay, I guess. Huh? Does that make it kosher?
Well,
and of course, when you go into a good deli, you see lots of good kosher tongue. Milking that bacon, baby. I just heard the beat. It went like that. I'm going to go eat my bacon while KG sings a song.
Spectre, he's the man with a lot of guns. He keeps for fun. And if Bill Spectre asks you out when you're at the House of Blues, you should refuse. At his home he'll say you must stay here, for he knows it's a gun you will fear. I would rather see Hannibal Lecter than go on a date with Mr. Phil Spector. On his walls are lots of records of gold. You'll end up cold, dead and cold. You'll be dead and cold. I'm dying over here. Dead and cold.
11:19 at QM. Man, that timing was great. My bacon is right here in front of me.
All right.
I nuked it. Oh, this is a nukeable kind, you know?
Right.
And just nice and extra crispy. 1,417 friends in our MySpace, by the way. Not too bad.
Not at all.
Consider it.
Heimlich.
Yeah. Not good to be eating crispy bacon on the air.
Chewy is better.
I don't like chewy bacon. Chewy bacon sucks. You like chewy bacon?
I like chewy bacon.
Why?
Because
How about Jewy bacon? I don't think there is no such thing, is there?
Why not? If it's free.
It's made from a Jewish pig.
It's kosher.
How about Ethan Skolnick? I think he's Jewish. And
gay.
I just there are times in your life when you want to go like sit in the corner, like Little Jack Corner, you know, and stick your thumb in your mouth or in your rectum, anywhere it'll fit, and you just shake your head and wonder, is this really what it's all about? And that's what was going on with me this morning. I sat here.
Yeah.
And I had the monitor on very low, and until you come in, till about 8:25, whenever you show up.
Right.
I have, I won't have it on at all, like till about 10:15 after, because I know you won't be there that early.
Right.
But I think starting around 8 o'clock for whatever reason, I just punched it up and I had it on really low. And I kept, I guess out of curiosity, I kept wondering what is it that they're talking about here, because it just went on and on and on and on about Ethan Skolnick and dropping a bomb and it stunk real bad, and about lilac candles and potpourri.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe you need to explain it to me.
I can't explain anything on the station to you except that it's a sports fraternity and they program to themselves.
Is that what it is?
Sure. They think it's great.
They like those 1 and 2 shares?
Oh, they just, if they just keep doing it, if they just keep doing
when
more.
You get the big numbers, sometimes it's like hard to deal with them, you know? But when you have like a small, really workable one, like that 11 o'clock hour at night point, that's easy to work with.
See, if they just put more sports on, then the numbers will come up.
Yeah.
They really believe that. You're laughing, but that's what they think.
I think while I'm eating the bacon, because it's not polite to talk.
Yeah.
While you're eating.
Ain't no fart sounds
anymore. Come on. One time for the West Coast, meaning over Naples.
Ain't no fun sounds like before.
Like before. And that's the end of that. That's all you're going to hear of that. And you know why?
Yeah, I know why.
Because the one bitch decided she don't like it. Not because the FCC, there's certainly nothing in there even close to the FCC guidelines. Nothing. And not even because Clarence is a blue-nosed idiot. Because he approved it.
He was singing it in the halls.
Funny. I beg your pardon?
He was singing it in the halls.
Clarence was singing it in the halls?
Yes.
He was singing No Fart Sounds. This is our program director who approved this to be played on the air. And then Joyce over there in Naples put the kibosh on it. And Joe Bell, jolly fat-ass Joe Bell, who's nothing but a courier for bad messages from corporate. Neil, corporate doesn't want you to play that No Fart Sounds bit anymore. How's your day? And I thought to myself, you simpleton, man. See, this is what we got going to bat for us, you know? It's like if you had a baseball team.
Yeah.
And the manager was like a dead man, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Probably not going to get a lot of leadership qualities out of him, you know? Like Casey Stengel. He was a heck of a manager when he was alive. But he's dead. See what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, you do.
You said baseball, and I left.
No, and so did everybody else. Anybody go to those Marlin games?
No. I went Saturday.
And how was it? Did they lose? Who'd they
play?
play?
They lost. The Mets.
Oh, I hear they had some big crowds, and they were all Mets fans.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That was the rumor I heard from down there on Sunday, or whenever the hell I heard it.
Well, I went Saturday. There was 34,000, and I'd say 60 or more was Mets fans. 60% or more was Mets fans.
There were how many? 34,000?
34,000. Well, that's what total ticket sales.
They had these gigantic crowds for the Mets and almost all Mets fans. See, South Florida is a market where the sports teams draw based on who the opponent is. Not because the local so-called fans are there to support their team. No, quite the contrary. They're there because the fans of the visiting team show up to see their team.
Well, the Dolphins sell out, but that's about it. There's also only 8 games. Well, 7
and
this year.
Some of the games pretty touch and go. You know that as well as I do.
Oh, yeah. It comes down to that Thursday, Friday deadline.
And now that we got Jimmy Syphilis over here on QAM, look out. And I don't want to hear any more about that rumor that you were starting from your buddy Danny LeBastard over the weekend.
Hey, I was asking you if you heard anything about it.
No, I did not. And now you're repeating it on the air.
I didn't repeat anything on the air.
Well, don't do it. Just an ugly rumor. It's probably one of those stunt deals, you know. They planted the seed and to see if we'd bite on it. Don't bite on the seed. Although I'm biting on my bacon, man. Oh, this poor pig. He must have lived a good life, you know, because he is sure delicious. Never really stopped and thought about that. How do they make bacon?
What do you mean?
I know it's got all those chemicals in there, those nitrites and nitrates and all the other cancer-causing, and especially when they're heated at a high temperature, like when you fry them in a frying pan or you nuke them like I just did.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you actually make bacon? Have you ever stopped and thought about that?
Well, originally it's smoked and salted. And like you said, they use chemicals now. They use like that liquid smoke and everything. But yeah,
smoke in a can.
Right.
I wonder if Ethan Skolnick smokes in the can.
No, sir! You would feel all so damn slippery. Hillary from Arkansas. I think you should run, honey. Well, hell yes, I do. I think you should devote all your time to it. And I'll just, I'll stay home, you know. I'll take care of things. Taking care from Arkansas. It's the damnedest thing I ever saw. You're a twitty little goofy dog, 'cause you never have lived in New York. So change your mind while in Illinois. Hillary! We don't believe that you're a Yankee fan. No, sir! You're a dope-beating bad Democrat. Hillary from Arkansas. Oi! H-I-L-L-A-R-Y! Hillary! Hillary!
We got 1,005 votes, Chris.
Oh, we got to get
relax. Now I can sit back. I'm all done with my bacon. Well, what more can we accomplish, right? I think we ought to sign off for a couple hours. Give this thing a rest.
Sure, let's go.
We can play ESPN Radio.
Or we can talk about Ethan Skolnick having a bowel movement and how it smelled like roses, or was it lilacs? A new biography of Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton has once again raised the issue of whether members of Congress read a key intelligence report before the 2002 vote to authorize bloodshed, murder, and terror in Iraq. Clinton didn't read the 90-page classified National Intelligence Estimate on Iraq, according to her way, the hopes and ambitions of Hillary Rodham Clinton. For members of Congress to read the report, they had to go to a secure location on Capitol Hill. The Washington Post reported in 2004 that no more than 6 senators and a handful of House members were logged in as reading the document. The Clinton biography, written by New York Times reporter Jeff Gerth and Don Van Natta, Jr., summarizes the intelligence estimate, which combined reports of U.S. intelligence agencies about Iraq. Clinton was briefed on the intelligence report multiple times. She's one of 6 presidential candidates who were in the Senate in October 2002 and voted for the resolution to authorize the invasion of Iraq. Candidate and then Senator John Edwards Radin was briefed on the intelligence while sitting on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Another Democratic candidate, Senator Joe Biden, said he read the report, but we know he's a liar. A spokesman for presidential candidate Senator Chris Dodd said he did not read the document either. Republican presidential candidate John McCain of Arizona also voted in favor of the resolution without reading the report, because John McCain never met a war he didn't like. Other candidates were not available for comment yesterday. The National Intelligence Estimate concluded that the U.S. had compelling evidence that Iraq was restarting the efforts to develop a nuclear bomb and had concealed stockpiles of chemical and biological weapons from UN inspectors after the ceasefire that ended the 91 Persian Gulf War. That was wrong, but that wasn't established until after a U.S.-led army toppled Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein's government in April 2003, after the Iraq attack. The intelligence report did contain passages that raised questions about the weapons' conclusions, said John McLaughlin, then deputy director of the CIA. I think if someone reads the entire report, they would walk away thinking the intelligence community generally thinks he's got weapons of mass destruction, but there are quite a bit of differences, he said. McLaughlin, now a CNN contributor, said dissenting views by the State Department, Department of Energy, and the Air Force made up about 10 to 12 pages of the report, but critics say those dissents were not highlighted. She didn't read it, and neither did John McCain. Swillery voted for it. She didn't bother reading it. Bitch.
Yeah.
Obnoxious bitch. And the only reason that she's got any support and all this money coming into her is because she was married to Bill Clinton, and is. Okay. I was going to say she was his wife, but I guess in name only.
Right. A lot of that going around.
Now, what are you trying to say?
About what?
About a lot of that going around.
Oh, nothing.
Women who are somebody's wife in name only?
That's what I hear.
That's the rumor that you're starting. See, with people like you on the air, it's not good for the institution of marriage, the hallowed, sacred institution of marriage.
Right, it's in trouble.
I'm not saying if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just,
what?
Reporting it without passing judgment on it. I don't want to pass judgment, man. Too many people out there, especially the religious, the Getchkis. Oh, we better see that movie Jesus Camp. All about these brainwashed kids.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Huh?
Been there, done that.
You been to Jesus Camp?
Yes, I have.
That's right.
I called it the heavy petting zoo, though.
A lot of hanky-spanky going on there in Jesus Camp. You can be damn sure of that. Well, it's that good old-time religion, baby. Oh, God, that's good. Let's
Bring your
do it
hanky,
again.
because there's going to be some spanky.
Right. Some spunky. 1018 on the poll. What's the worst form of entertainment? Rap music, 466. Professional wrestling, 166. Sports talk radio, a very solid third.
Rock solid.
121 vote. Opera, 95. Made-for-TV movie, 62. Reality TV, 38. Modern art, 37. And Broadway musicals, 33. Out of 1,018 votes. Well, that's a good sign, man. Right after Memorial Day, we're bouncing back like the comeback kids, aren't we? I'm going to be honest with you, man. When in doubt, tough it out. That was the advice I had this morning from one of my spiritual advisors. Tough it out. Yeah.
Good plan.
That's what I'm going to do. When in doubt, I'm going to tough it out. Got about a year and a half of this crap. I mean, these people, these bastards, left. And I'm just going to tough it out, being the trooper that I am. You know what I'm saying? Being the old trooper that I am. And then I'll go to Jamaica and retire, where they'll love me. Oh, the Jamaicans love me.
They'll love you to death.
The what?
Love
me
you
to death, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the
Jesus,
the superstitious folks, the Bible thumpers, all want to do. They want to love you to death. Boy, they're coming in chunks on there, Chris. I think we can make 1,300 a day.
Sounds good
crazy?
to me.
Huh? Am I crazy or what?
2.5 hours? Yeah, we can get that.
No way.
Yes, we can.
Like I said, we can make 1,200 a day.
13.
You are such a bastard. It's just, I don't know what happened. I guess they're working on the show all this time.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All of 5 months. Oh, George is going to be on vacation next week, and for the Josh Cordes fans out there, those guys that want to grab his body or his girlfriend or both, he'll be on next week with me. Won't that be exciting?
Sure it will.
And even better news is Wednesday we get an early departure. You don't think I'm going to do Woodbine Wednesday next week just because I get out of here early, do you? The answer is no.
No?
No.
All right.
Why do you want me to go?
I don't want you to go. What are you talking about?
Well, then why do you keep insisting I'm going to do it? I have no intention to do it.
So that you'll argue with me.
I don't want to argue with you about that. I'll argue with you about anything else, but not something that's bad for me, okay?
Like food?
Don't be like, be somebody
like
who's
ice cream?
Yeah, there you go. Be somebody helpful, like our good buddy Zisco with the freaky pictures he got there on his page.
With his ironed hair?
He's got ironed hair, man. Don't ever let, all you people out there, don't let your girlfriends and wives iron your hair.
No problem.
What is that all about?
I don't know. I guess it's curly. Was curly.
That's the most bizarre picture I've ever seen in my life. Got like a flat, like he ran into a wall, you know? One side of his head just got mashed.
Roger's got.
Absolutely.
At the beach, you see, it hurts your eyes. Spandex wrapped around thunder thighs. Swimsuit is small, the body is wide. She says it looks good, and that's a lie. She's saying, oh my God, what is that? She's saying, oh my God, rolls of fat. The things people wear, it blows my mind. They make it so tough for me to be kind. You think that they would have had some pride. If I look too long, I think I'll go blind. The things people wear, I hope they see that they dress so ridiculously. A fat hairy man in a bikini, call the fashion police immediately.
16 till noon, all the getchkis with all the schmatas all the time. That's what the world is all about. People with bad headgear, people who look really dangerous, like terrorists, for example. What's going to happen when the terrorists start dressing up like, ordinary plain pedestrian, you know what I'm saying?
I thought they did.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, here's the bacon answer from your friend Brandon. Here, in fact, this is probably a little more information than we need, but nevertheless, it'll kill some really good time. It's not nearly as scintillating as Ethan Skolnick farting or dropping a bad bomb in the bowl and bringing out the lilac candles.
Right.
You know
But
something?
then what is?
If I live to be 150, I'll never recover from that half hour. I'll never believe that I actually heard that. Forget about this radio station, on any radio station. You know what I mean?
No. What do you mean?
Well, maybe if we could get the tape for you. Any
That's
more,
all right.
then you'd understand what I was talking about.
I don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss.
See, the radio station isn't just taken over by the sports writers. Now it's also during those rare segments when we don't have one of them on the air. Now it's talking about them, the sports writers.
I see.
See what I'm saying? So we could probably have an Eddie Pope hour, and we could have a Dave Hyde hour, and a Michael Holdemayo hour. Although he doesn't do sports anymore. Forget about him. And Alex Marvez hour. See, and the Drew Rosenhaus-Steenberg Kranz-Schwartz hour. Rashers or slices differ depending on where they're cut from. Streaky bacon comes from the belly of a pig. Oh, nice. It's very fatty with long veins of fat running parallel to the rind. This is the most common form of bacon in the U.S. Pancetta is Italian streaky bacon, smoked or green, unsmoked, with a strong flavor and delicious, too, by the way. It's generally rolled up into cylinders. After curing, it has about 590 calories per 100 grams, which is about 200 calories per stripe. Wow. Back bacon comes from the loin in the middle of the back of the pig. It's a lean, meaty cut of bacon with relatively less fat compared to other cuts and has a ham-like texture and flavor. Most bacon consumed in the UK is back bacon. Figures. Middle bacon is a lot like back bacon, but it's cheaper and somewhat fattier with a richer flavor. And all the words in here, this must be from a British website, are spelled the British way. F-L-A-V-O-U-R, you know, like that?
Yes.
And also Canadian, eh? Cottage bacon, thinly sliced lean pork meat from a shoulder cut that is typically oval-shaped and meaty. It is cured, then sliced into round pieces for baking or frying. Jowl bacon. Oh, man. I wonder if the humper eats jowl bacon. Is cured and smoked cheeks of pork. Baconing joints include collar bacon, taken from the back of the pig near the head. Wait a minute. Collar bacon is taken from the back of a pig near the head. Oh, in other words, from the back.
Yes.
Not the rear, the back. Because I thought maybe this pig had its head up its...
Rectum. Oh, boy.
Well, it doesn't sound, the way they phrased it there is a little bit awkward, you know? Hock from the hog ankle joint between the ham and the foot, and gammon from the hind leg, traditionally Wiltshire cured and rolled into a joint, and then George smokes it. Back bacon is a lean, meaty cut of bacon. Canadian bacon is a term used in the U.S. and Canada, but with differing meanings. In the U.S., it refers to any lean, meaty cut of bacon, and is sometimes used as a pizza topping. In Canada, Canadian bacon, which is also known as pea-meal bacon, refers to a specific...
Yeah.
Isn't that you're used to that, pea-meal. Pea-meal bacon refers to a specific variety of unsmoked lean bacon that has been sweet pickle cured and coated in yellow cornmeal. Other proteins, such as turkey and beer, can be made in the style of Canadian bacon by employing the same sweet pickle and cornmeal process. Canadian bacon is the American interpretation. Back bacon actually is rarely eaten by Canadians unless in fast food breakfast sandwiches from American chain restaurants. Oh, that must be my back bacon allergy, you know?
Backing up.
My pea-meal bacon allergy. It's backing up again. 1,044 votes on the poll. What did I say? I said 1,200. Chris is going for 13. I think you're dreaming, man.
We'll do it.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we will.
We'll see. Well, see, I'm using the reverse psychology now. Because last week, 2 days, see, I can even remember back to last week before I lost all that money at Niagara at Fallsview. You're stealing over there. You're stealing. They have those machines on the death program. In other words, you could croak before they're going to pay out. You know that at one point, I was losing $2,500 and I won $2,800 on a machine.
Yeah.
I was actually ahead.
Right, and then you
could
have walked away.
You walked away, and done what? Walked into the falls, stuck my foot in the middle of the falls, said, "Oh, gee, this looks like a fun ride." Yeah, that's true. The man who was Meyer Lansky's driver and bodyguard during the mob's heyday in pre-revolutionary Cuba died earlier this year. A curious footnote in a communist-run country whose past is a gambling mecca for vacationing Americans is all but forgotten, unless, of course, you watch Godfather 2. There was no story in the Communist Party dealer Grandma about the February 12th death of Armando Jaime Casillas at age 75 from lung cancer. No mention on Cuban state TV either, despite the decades he spent promoting Afro-Cuban dance and music in his post-mob years. Afro-Cuban dance? What is that?
Well, in case you haven't noticed, there are some black people in Cuba.
I thought they were all in Florida.
Well, them too. Anyway, They brought some music over with them.
Casillas' close friend Enrique Cerullas got the news through word of mouth. Somebody made sounds with their mouth, and that's how he got the word. He liked his cigars, he liked his whiskey, never stopped working, Cerullas told the AP. He was a very respected man. Now he's dead. A stout, reserved man who sported eyeglasses, a goatee, and a pinky ring. Oh, a pinky ring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Casillas was among the last people alive with first-hand knowledge of mob operations in the colorful, decadent Havana that thrived before a young rebel named Fidel Castro seized power. And, boy, they were bringing Batista suitcases full of cash, man. Remember how Fredo brought that suitcase with the cash?
Sure.
Stoic and discreet, Casillas was there with Lansky during numerous meetings with Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista, who protected gambling businesses on the island, and accompanied him when the mobster traveled around the Caribbean to talk with underworld figures such as Santos Traficante Sr. not to be confused with Santos Traficante Jr. or Joe Marsh Jr. Cassie Ellis helped Lansky hide in the Cuban capital in late 1957 after the Sicilian mafia families of New York tried to grab control of the mobster's Havana operation, and violence erupted in Manhattan. And he was behind the wheel of Lansky's silver gray 1957 Chevy Impala convertible on New Year's Eve 1958. As word spread that Batista had fled the island and Castro's bearded rebels were close to victory, he helped the gangsters scoop up millions of dollars in profits from his Havana casinos. The next day, Cuban mobs, euphoric over the revolutionary triumph, ransacked the gambling dens, exposing their deep resentment of mob control of the island. Bonfires of smashed slot machines and roulette tables raged in Havana streets. Oh, we should have that at Fallsview, baby. Smash those machines, man. And like I started to say before, everything has got to be glitz and have a big show, and it's penny machines and 2-penny machines and nickel machines, and you hit the button and all these different lights go, blah, 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 and you have no idea. I mean, you do know if you won or not, but you have no idea why, because you can't make out they got all these little tiny symbols on them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Soon thereafter, the revolutionary government outlawed gambling, prostitution, and non-prescription drugs, and the mobsters gave up without a fight. The gigantic projects of gaming, drugs, and sex, channels of heroin to the U.S., and cocaine powder for the consumption of thousands of American tourists who visited the wildest spots in Havana were condemned to disappear. As soon as Batista's tyranny fell apart, Serials wrote in the Secret Life of Meyer Lansky in Havana. I'm going to sneeze again. Available only in Cuba in Spanish. It sold out when it was published in 2004, and that's now in its second edition. The book also revealed the secret life that Cassie Ellis had before undergoing what he described as a moral conversion, rejecting his mob past and becoming the public relations director of the Conjunto Folclorico Nacional dance group for more than 3 decades. You heard what I said. Conjunto Folclorico.
What word did you say?
Well, I got it a little bit floked up there.
I'll say.
Try
to stay in focus, will you?
Folclorico Nacional. I said it right, and you're giving me crap, man.
I don't think there is a way to say it right.
That's exactly right. Conjunto Folclorico.
Oh, God.
This is serious stuff, man.
Yeah, sure it is.
The guy is dead.
So?
I don't know.
What do you ever do for you?
Nothing.
Me either.
Didn't even teach me to dance.
I'm telling you.
Born in Havana in 31, Cassie Ellis left the island in 48 to study public relations at Northwestern University, perfecting his English. He was a car dealer in a Vegas casino when Lansky persuaded him to be his assistant in Cuba. As Cerulis researched his book, the two men spent countless afternoons visiting Lansky's haunts, the former military base where Lansky and Batista met, the Marina Hemingway, where Lansky took his mistress Carmen, the hotels where raucous Americans arriving on 80 daily flights from the U.S. once crowded around roulette wheels and blackjack tables. The Capri, the Riviera and Deauville, and the Nacional hotels still stand today, destinations for beach-seeking Europeans on travel packages and rare American congressmen on trade and fact-finding missions. What about Canadians, eh? See, this goes to show you whoever wrote this crap. This is from it's in the Herald. Well, you know some moron wrote it. I began to discover a Havana that I never knew existed, said the 68-year-old Cerulis, who grew up in eastern Camagüey and didn't arrive in Havana until long after the Revolution. Is that correct, Camagüey?
Sure, whatever.
You don't know. You don't know your Cuba from squat, man. You better go back to the old country.
I was 4 when I left. What do you want from me?
So what's the excuse with that?
What do you remember from when you were 4?
I remember falling down on that sidewalk that time and hit my head.
I remember chasing
5,
ducks with a squirt gun. That's about it.
I remember throwing away Myrtle the turtle, and I think he wasn't dead yet.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first turtle I ever seen. They used to poke his head out every now and then. Then as I got older, I saw a lot more of those, especially in Europe.
Snapping turtles, I understand.
Cassie Ellis described how Lansky left Cuba for good with a fake passport April of 59. Carmen accompanied him to the U.S., where he died in 83, 12 years after he was indicted for allegedly skimming millions of dollars from the Flamingo Hotel in Vegas. The charges were dismissed because of his poor health. He was always illin', poor Meyer. Is that thing under Meyer or is it under Lansky? Well, you don't know. You don't even have it.
I don't have it.
Huh?
I don't. You do.
There's Lance Bass. And kiss your ass goodbye, Lance Bass. Or could he sing or...
No.
Hey, Lance.
You fairy.
That was quite a bulletin, wasn't it? When's Nick Carter coming out of the closet? Now that Charles Nelson Riley died, we need to have another... That was quite a bulletin, wasn't it? When's Nick Carter coming out of the closet? Now that Charles Nelson Riley died, we need to have another spokesman for the gay flamboyant community, don't we?
Sure.
1,061 votes on the poll. We'll have 1,100 pretty soon, and then we'll, like I said, we got 13, I think. Uh-oh, breaking news. 4 girls and their mother found hanged near Hudson Oaks, Texas.
A 3-year-old and a 2-year-old dead.
Bodies were found hanging in the closet of a mobile
female.
home. But you know something? When you live in a mobile home, sometimes you want to hang yourself, don't you?
Right.
And I guess some of the people who are live in mobile homes are probably already hung, wouldn't you think?
I imagine.
Steve Goldstein, but you can call me Geldy. Whenever I'm in town, I listen to... Wait a minute, I am in town. It's the 12 to 1 hour.
Down in Miami, where the losers all go, there's a big fat bastard named Jolly Joe. He manages a radio station there, and when it comes to paying bills, Joe don't care. Deadbeat Joe, man, what a baby, oh, 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 oh. Deadbeat Joe, what a show, oh, 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 oh. Deadbeat Joe. Joe's quick to point out that measly greed has a spending freeze. Cracker, please. I'm not the only one who's being left with no choice but to leave on your desk a steaming pile of joys. Deadbeat Joe, man, what a baby, oh, 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 oh. Deadbeat Joe, man, you go, oh, 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 Deadbeat Joe. I'm looking forward to seeing Deadbeat Joe on the corner of Jog and Palmetto Park Road, walking through the traffic with a cardboard sign that says,
I'm a deadbeat bum. Can you spare me a dime?
Deadbeat Joe is right, gonna get Joe. Deadbeat, I hope they foreclose on the Deadbeat Joe.
You blow.
Oh!
Promo 2 at 560. I hear that's going around, man. Joyce, same problem. She blows. That's what I'm hearing. Speaking of people who blow, so I got an invoice in the mail, I think, on Friday from your close personal friend and sometimes attorney, Norma Kent.
Okay.
This is an old invoice, allegedly, a copy of an old invoice for some court charges that hadn't been paid because Joyce didn't want to pay him, and bada-beep-bada-boo. And I look at this thing, and this is about the second or third time that this queen friend of mine has tried to pull this on me, and it includes the charges for the entire year. You know, I pay him an annual fee to represent me for 2006.
Right.
Which already, of course, have been paid. I guess assuming that I have old-timer's disease and just will look at the number on that page and say, oh, okay, I'll write a check out to Norma for some ungodly amount. In fact, the amount that, isn't that interesting? That's exactly the amount that I blew at Niagara over the weekend. So sorry, Norma, even assuming I owed you that, which I didn't, it's all gone anyway. I mean, what kind of an agent does something like that?
I don't know. Norm?
I'll tell you what kind.
Gay.
Yeah, that kind. 1,082. In the next few minutes, we'll have 1,100, and then I guess, maybe we can coast into 13. I don't think so. I think 1,200 was a good number. Good number to pick, Chris, but we'll see. You've been the poll magician the last few days.
Remember, not many voted yesterday, so they got to get out of their blood today.
Well, not many voted yesterday because there was nobody listening yesterday because it was a holiday, for Christ's sakes. I mean,
what are you talking about? We had big numbers yesterday. Everybody was listening.
He should see the grin on his face while he says that.
Don't you know everybody loves music shows?
Eat and grin? Everybody loves what?
The music shows.
Oh, you played a lot of music?
I already told you.
Well, you glossed over it real fast so that I wouldn't follow it up with any question.
I said I played music instead of bits.
Oh, every break?
Yeah.
And we're still on the air? No wonder they were talking about Ethan Skolnick dropping a big smelly load in the bowl. I mean, that's a radio show?
On Memorial Day,
talking for half an hour about Ethan Skolnick dropping a smelly dump and covering it up with lilac candles? Man. I'm telling you, Jolly Joe, and I'm not going to tell you what Jolly Joe told me about that show, by the way. Because that would be,
What?
That would be, unleashing some crap. I think that word was in there, by the way, crap. But nevertheless, it's like this is the second year in a row. Didn't we go through this last year and I kept screaming, when is this man going to do something? When is the other shoe going to drop? When is this man going to get off his fat, big, smelly ass? And now we're going through it again. Here it's almost the end of May. Tomorrow is the 30th of May. Am I right about that?
Okay, 29th, 30th, sure.
Tomorrow,
right.
let me say it again.
Yeah.
What did I say, Chris? So you're going to start that again?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's replay the tape. Tomorrow is El 30 de Mayo. Am I correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Which means we got 2 more days left in the month, and it's going to be Junio. And boy, I'm going to be one happy camper when June comes. Oh, boy. I'm going to be a happy old man when June comes. You know that song? I bet you got it. You Won't See Me by the Beatles?
You know I do.
Do you? You won't see me much, I'll tell you that. You won't hear me much. Tuesdays and Thursdays starting like the middle of June. That's after that week vacation. Boy, you sure got a tough schedule. Well, you know what? Thank God. 2 car bombings kill at least 38 in Baghdad. Just more numbers. And here's this poor schlepper coming in there with limping on one leg that don't look like it's going to still be on there. Iraq's casualties, 64,000 civilians killed. What's that, this week? Where'd that number come from?
says nearly 3,500 of its members.
3,463 now on U.S. troops. Pretty soon we're going to pass 3,500 number. Is anybody making a big scream about it? No. And there's Cindy Sheehan. She threw in the towel. She called it quits because it's a totalitarian, fascist government in control of the U.S. now, eh? Or is that in control of the U.S., eh? That's right. They're sending a few of her ragtag supporters there, one of her previous, she gave it her best, man. I really respect her, but boy, what a disappointment.
Sure. Not in her.
She says he died, her son died for a country that cares more about who will win the next American Idol and all this crap than how many people will be killed. Innocent people will be sacrificed in the next few months. Absolutely correct, Cindy. Isn't that what I've been saying?
Mm-hmm.
Christ. Anyway, here's the poll. Worst form of entertainment, we got 1,091. This segment, we're going to go over 1,100, Chris. I think you're right. We got a shot at 1,250. Rap music, 499, on the verge of 500. Anybody who calls that music needs a mental adjustment, needs a hearing aid, needs something. Needs an attitude adjustment, see? See, the thing with me is I don't really care about this color of people's skin or things like that. It's got to do with attitude and behavior of people. That's how I view people. I was going to say judge people. I don't want to judge anybody, but that's how I view the world, based on individual people and the way they behave and their attitude. If they got a crappy attitude, I'm going to say they're some kind of crappy person. Rap music, $4.99. And a lot of crappy people involved in that crap, too, by the way. Professional wrestling, 174. Sports talk radio, 126. Speaking of crap, wow.
Well, do you think that Dante's Culpeppers can get the Dolphins to the Super Bowl this year? You think the Yankees can win the pennant?
Like I've said before, now I watched the entire hockey game last night. Did I say anything about it today? I said, nice going Ducks, is what I said.
And you said, way to go, Robbie Niedermeyer.
Way to go. It was a great pass to set up the winning goal. Nice going there, Robbie. Hell of a pass. Hell of a play. Fought off a check behind the net. He came around from the side and passed it right in front, and bada bing, it's in the net. And by the way, you didn't see the CBC because you're in the USA. Bob Cole and Harry Neal need to be taken to the old folks' home. I mean, they had no idea what was going on. They didn't know what city they were in. 1,091 votes. Sports Talk Radio is third, 126. Opera, 95. Made-for-TV movies, 63, most of which are made for the trash bin. Reality TV, 56. Modern art, 41. And Broadway musicals, only 37. I guess they like their musicals, huh? That's because most of them are
gay.
All these macho men we got out there. I mean, that's why they're so anti-sports talk radio. What could be more interesting and scintillating, besides, of course, talking about Ethan Skolnick's bowel movements than
Jimmy and Danny.
What could be more exciting than that? Right?
Right.
And I know, I see, I'm guilty myself because I probably have spent a half hour total, or at least 20 minutes, talking about the fact that they discussed that this morning, but there are a few things that shocked this old queen, okay? I've been around a long time. Mm-hmm. I've seen him come and go. I've heard it all, but there are days I sit in this chair, and like this morning. And like I said, it's not just having the sports writers on the air, but now they're topic of conversation. Now they are grist for the mill. And the best part of it is 95%, 99% of the people in South Florida don't know who they are, don't care, don't read their columns, don't read the freaking newspapers, and certainly don't read Ethan Skolnick or Alex freaking Marvez or any of these other guys' boyfriends. I think that's what this is all about. I think the sports nerds are putting their boyfriends on here. What else could it be? Camper said he was at Ethan's house when he dropped that big smelly load. And he brought out the cashmere bouquet. I guess that was the cashmere bouquet that the crow left behind that he didn't smear all over himself. Remember those days?
Sure.
He used to bathe in cashmere bouquet. I have never smelled anybody as fragrant as the crow. Oh. And I mean fragrant. There's nothing wrong with a little, aftershave or a little bit of, whatever, cologne.
Mm-hmm.
But when you, smell like you've drenched in it, like you've been taking a bath in it for, 15 years, and, it just permeated every pore in your body, it's like, oh, let me out of here. Let me out of this room. Yeah, I bet you do. Well, I guess in accounting they thought he stunk, too, because they're the ones who got his ass fired. He went in there and he bitched and he moaned and he
got his ass fired.
I beg your pardon?
He got his ass fired.
Because he behaved like a crazy person.
That's right.
I mean, who the hell is he expecting to get paid on payday? Who the hell are you, Crow
Why
Man?
should he be any different?
That's right. Why should you be different from Chicken Neck and Mad Dog and everybody else that wasn't getting paid on payday? And you used to happen to me quite often, too, until Jolly Joe came along. That's the one thing. See, I'll give credit where credit is due. In fact, this last payday, I got the check 2 days early. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Which allowed me to go to Niagara Falls to Fallsview and lose my ass. But nevertheless, I'll give him credit for that. Absolutely nothing else.
Oh, my queen, God.
96 miles across the sea to the sandy beaches of Miami. That's all it takes to reach it. Save the Taliban. Escape plans, escape plans, escape plans. Took away the rag that was on our head. Now we have to use toilet paper instead. Escape into Miami, next target of attack.
A tropical paradise loaded with apathy is where Al-Qaeda should be. They're serving us iced tea and Perrier, but we'd really rather drink our tea.
Slash a few throats and seize a boat, pointed towards Miami and off we go, to where the angry Cubans slaughter their goats and attack, attack, attack. Attack, that's our plan. Escape plan, escape plan, escape plan. The plan, our plan, escape plan.
12:17 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday, man. It's almost over. May is almost at the end. Wow, what does that mean? Nothing. Time is marching on, baby. Mm-hmm. And what's happening at QAM?
No.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Anything exciting happening? Anything on the horizon?
Well, I understand we had Ethan Skolnick farting.
No, not on the air.
Oh, it wasn't?
He can't fart on the air. He can fart and stink up his own place, and Camper was there for some reason.
Listen if he did.
Fart sounds anymore. Come on, let's play the whole thing. What do you say? Not.
Ain't no fun sounds like before.
Like before. No, I got to make back that money I lost on Saturday at Fallsview and those stupid machines. Boy, but there's sure some real pretty people there, I'll tell you that. Wow. In fact, you know something? Now that I think about it, of course, I don't know how you go about that, you know? You walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, I got $500 here for you, and I got a nice room upstairs overlooking the." Well, the one thing about that place is every room looks out over the falls.
I see.
So if you want to jump, you'll go right down. I don't know how you go about doing that. You know, it's a little bit awkward, isn't it?
I imagine.
But I'm just thinking, for the amount of money that I plunged away, I could have had me a really good time somewhere. You know. Guess what's coming up Friday?
I give up.
12-day tax-free holiday on storm items. The new hurricane season starts Friday. Let's hear it. Because Friday is El Uno de Junio. Florida's least favorite shopping season, hurricane season, might get off to a slow start this year, says the Scum Sentinel. That's where Ethan Skolnick works, by the way, for the Sun Sentinel. You know, the guy that farts and smells up the room real bad and brings out a bunch of lilac crap? The state's 12-day hurricane preparation sales tax holiday goes into effect this Friday, El Uno de Junio, kicking off a shopping spree that allows Floridians to save money on batteries. Oh, too bad Sally Fitz left town. Generators and other storm-related supplies. Well, one thing about Sally, man, if you ever ran out of batteries, she always had, you know.
She bought them in bulk.
She always had some stored up for you.
Stored up where?
Yeah, up there.
I see.
Up yonder. Retailers such as Walmart and Lowe's are gearing up for the sales push by setting up well-stocked displays of gas cans, coolers, and other necessities. Oh, yeah, we don't want to get you nervous or anything, but Friday is officially the start. You can save a lot of money. Go out and stock up, baby. Not that anybody in Florida wants to get you all whipped up in hurricane. But just as fresh and painful memories of Wilma encouraged South Floridians to get an early start on shopping for supplies last year, the mild 2006 hurricane season could have just the opposite effect. Lethargy. We already bought the generator and the big stuff, said John Beatty of Boca. This year will be a small spending season. Well, good for you, John. Save that money and plunge your guts. Go to the casinos, man. Lose your ass. Beatty and his wife Ira said their hurricane supply list would include things like batteries and flashlights. Now we're talking. There's one notable change in the tax-free holiday this year. Consumers can now spend up to $75 as opposed to $50 last year for portable radios. Oh, thank God for that. Go out and get you a couple extra radios. Now, do you remember the great job that I did during Wilma, if I do say so myself?
Sure. All of us.
All of us what? Did a great job or remember it?
Yeah, both.
Oh. No, seriously, because I was here and didn't have to worry about losing my power and had the internets going and the TV and everything, and we had a regular blow-by-blow, so to speak, like Joy. She blows. In all the holidays expected to say, now what were you, I don't understand the response there. Why did you even that's not a bulletin, you know.
Ain't no
fart sounds anymore. Rhymes with she blows. It rhymes with that, which made for one hell of a bit. And you're telling me that Clarence didn't, who told me that?
Chris.
Clarence
Josh came in and said Clarence was walking through the halls singing She blows, she blows, she blows.
Hope you're listening, Joyce. Clarence Josh Darrow was going in the hallway and giving you crap, sullying your name and reputation, you bitch. In all the holidays expected to save residents almost $25 million in sales taxes, far less than last year's anticipated savings of $41 million, which some say was overestimated. A spokesman for Governor Charlie Christoff said the state expects fewer, and then it's chopped off here, the story. Good. I don't want to read this anyway. While retailers are preparing for crowds of shoppers, they say it's something, and business will fare during, it's hard to tell how business will fare during the tax-free period. It's chopped off. There's an ad here for Icon luxury condos that's slopped over on the damn Sun Sentinel. I hate that, don't you?
All the time.
Can't stand that crap. The sales of big-ticket things like generators might be a little bit slower, but we're going to be prepared anyway, said Freddie Miller, South Florida market manager for Walmart. Don't take it personal, Freddie. We don't like you, okay? Don't take it personally, but he's the South Florida market manager for Walmart, so I'm assuming you don't like him either.
I don't.
You like him, Chris? No.
Don't care?
Depending on the... No. Come on, you can do it.
No.
Depending on the volume of business, each Walmart store in South Florida will initially carry between 20 and 40 portable generators. Last year, stores couldn't I don't know why I needed you to say that. I've heard that word so many times in my life. Last year, stores couldn't restock them fast enough, and lines formed outside area home improvement stores in early morning hours so people could ensure that they got one. We're just making sure that our shelves are stocked, said Brian Matthews, a store manager at Super Target in Boynton Beach. And, Brian, we don't mind you at all. Right? Super
Not
Target.
at all, no.
What is Super Target?
Bigger than the usual Target.
Wow, bigger and better than the plain old ordinary Target. The beauty of buying hurricane supplies, Miller said, is that they're always useful. There you go. A lot of people use the tax-free holiday as a chance to stock up on things they're going to use throughout the year, he said. Irene Reagan, 64, Fort Lauderdale, plans to take advantage of the tax holiday. Topping her shopping list is a cell phone charger, and batteries are also a must. We have some things from last year, she said, but we'll go out and restock. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-ba. Well, good for you, Irene. Keep it clean, Irene, said the old queen. You know what I mean. 11:19 on the poll. I don't think I even mentioned when we had that. I try very diligently to mention every time we pass another landmark, another century.
Yeah.
Kind of like my age. 11:19 now on the poll, so I'm thinking that by 1 we might have 12. I don't know. I think 1250 is a safe number to pick.
1,300.
And after the luck I had on over the weekend. By the way, one guy won $27 million in the 649 Lotto here this weekend. I guess you can safely assume it was not me.
Right.
You know how much I got? $5. Not good. The only good news is that this Wednesday, tomorrow night, it's up. It's one of those bonus deals, even though somebody won. They have a few of these throughout the year where they keep jacking up the winning total even though somebody won the previous time. It's up to $30 million tomorrow night.
About 30, man.
And like Ranieri said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and win it.
Good.
We used to say that all the time. I'm just going to go ahead and win that thing. Of course, that was the Florida lottery, and of course, the Florida lottery, as everybody knows, is a major ripoff. They give you an annuity, and if you want to take it in one lump sum, if you won $20 million, they give you like about 5 cents, you know. Can't have it all at once, you know, because the governor's busy paying off his boyfriends and that chick who pretends to be his girlfriend now. Well, what kind of nonsense is that, you know? Why does everybody have to have a beard? Can you answer that?
Because it's still unacceptable.
Governor, why can't you just come out and stand before the cameras and say I'm a fag, okay?
The Republican, for Christ's sake.
Fag. And Mark Foley and I used to, hang it out together. Probably shared some of the same company, no doubt. You silly person, you fair. Right. And then, of course, like I said, if Hillary, oh, God, I can't even put it into words. I don't dare say it on the air.
Why not?
The idea that she might be the president.
No way.
Isn't it a disgusting
It'll never
thought?
happen.
No, that's correct, because even if she got, although it wouldn't surprise me, Democrats have a way of doing that, picking somebody that couldn't get elected in the fixed election.
Well, exactly. She can't get elected, so even if they run her, she can't get elected.
I would say she is absolutely electable.
Unbelievable. Right.
No, and that too. 11:21 on the poll. We're shooting for 12 by the top of the hour. Then you got a shot. Then you got an outside shot for greatness. Chris is the poll man. Now, all of a sudden, since he's taken this thing on by himself, he's leading us out of the wilderness into new paths, into new areas of greatness. And if you can do that when the ratings come out on June 7, boy, I'll buy you something.
Cool.
I'll buy a banana daiquiri or something like that.
No, thanks.
What? Does it sound good? Does that sound a little bit too
gay? Not into banana daiquiris or anything like that.
How about a case of beer?
How about some vodka?
Oh, I'll leave that up to Josh's girlfriend.
But a quesadilla.
I'll buy you a quesadilla. Not a case of beer, just a quesadilla. I'm going to Taco Bell right now.
God? Welcome to heaven. All those waiting to enter the gate, please remain seated until your name is called.
Excuse me. Hey, where do you think you're going, pal?
Jesus says heaven has a special place for me.
That's what you think, chum.
You don't understand, my friend. I am the good Reverend Jerry Falwell, and I have devoted my life to the word of the Lord.
Ah, one of those. Yeah, I know what you are. Jesus.
Yes?
I got a guy here named Falwell. Says you got a special place for him.
Oh, he must be one of those.
Yeah.
Let me talk to him.
Is this the voice of God?
To some, but I never talked to you before. Or your buddy Bush, for that matter, you delusional con.
I beg your pardon, sir.
I am so sick of you flim-flammers fraudulently using my name for greed and power.
I never used the Lord's name in vain.
Oh, yes, you did. Dude, I got a big surprise for all you crooks down there. And what's with all you inbred speaking in tongues? What's that about?
It helps convey the word of the Lord.
Well, I'm the Lord, and here's your word. Reincarnation. Oh, and by the way, Jerry, I'm gay. Take care of it, people.
I'm on it. Okay, pal. Let's see. Got your slated to retain the SpongeBob. Wait a minute. Nope. That's reserved for Robinson. You get Tinky Winky.
No, wait a minute. I'll have you know I'm...
Go to hell.
Eat it for the homo. Give me money. Give me money. Eat it for the homo.
Oh, 12:32. What if it turns out that...
Eat it for the homo.
After all, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
That would sure turn some people around, so to speak.
Elect them.
1,125 votes on the poll. We need 175 for 1,300 in, let's see, 88 minutes. You can do it, Chris.
Yes, we can.
If Eric gets his foot off the brake. He's jamming on it right now. I can always tell when he does that. With no jobs and no money, many female Iraqi refugees in Syria have turned to prostitution in order to survive.
Oh, my gosh.
Many of these women and girls, including some barely in their teens, are recent refugees, writes Catherine Zoff. Some are tricked or forced into prostitution, but most say they've got no other means of supporting their families. According to the UN Higher Commissioner for Refugees, about 1.2 million Iraqi refugees now live in Syria. The Syrian government puts the figure even higher. Given the deteriorating economic situation of those refugees, a UN report found last year, many girls and women in severe need turn to prostitution in secret even with the knowledge of their or involvement of family members. In many cases, the report added, the head of the family brings clients to the house. They're pimping their daughters out. Aid workers say thousands of Iraqi women work as prostitutes in Syria and point out that as violence in Iraq has increased, the refugee population has come to include more female-headed households and unaccompanied women. So many of the Iraqi women arriving now are living on their own with their children because the men in their families were killed or kidnapped, said Sister Marie-Claude Nadaf, a Syrian nun at the Good Shepherd Covenant in Damascus, which helps Iraqi refugees. Una prostituta. Only good things are happening over there, okay? If you people in the media would start reporting the good things that are happening, if we could ever find out what they were, like that wonderful school for kids. What was that school they were talking about?
The prostitute school?
Yeah, you're right, the hooker school, right. Now, you know the one I'm talking about, the one that never got built?
Oh, that one that
Laura Bush was going on about.
The children of Iraq. I thought it was supposed to be a hospital or something anyway.
Well, whatever it was.
Whatever it was,
kind
never
of
got built.
a place for kids, who aren't dead yet. Now, how do we pronounce this guy's name? Somebody sent me a thing and told me, C-E-N-K, Uger, the who writes for Smirking Chimp. Sank. That's not correct. Chink? Chank?
Oh, whatever.
Ching Chang. He says the war is over. Bush has lost the Republicans. The war is over. There aren't 3 people in the country more conservative than Republican Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama, and this is what he said over the weekend. By September, when General Petraeus is to make a report, I think most of the people in Congress believe, unless something extraordinary occurs, that we should be on a move to draw those surge numbers down. If that wasn't clear enough, he added, I don't think we need to be an occupying power. This is a fine line we've walked, and this surge has got to be temporary. We don't need to be and cannot be perceived as just an occupying Iraq for any extended period of time. It is now clear September is the Republican deadline. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, made the Senate Republican position even clearer. He said, I think the handwriting is on the wall that we're going in a different direction in the fall. It's on the wall in the fall, and I expect the President himself to lead it. Right. Obviously, he doesn't really expect the President will lead the effort to go in a new direction. Otherwise, he wouldn't be making his public statements to pressure him to do it. The floodwaters are rising. Without the Republicans in Congress, this administration is left all alone in their effort to continue this misbegotten war. All Bush is left now is Cheney leading him around the Titanic yelling, come on, Rose. The troops on the ground get it. The Iraqi army isn't willing to fight with us to keep Iraq together. In fact, the very people we train often fight against us in the battles against insurgents and militias. Unfortunately, the situation in Iraq these days is that the people who believe in Iraq don't want to fight, and the people who fight don't believe in Iraq. The majority of the West gets it. The Democrats get it, and now finally the Republicans have gotten the memo, though they're willing to go till September for a mission they no longer believe in for political purposes. And even the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State get it. That's why people friendly to their interests have leaked a plan they support to cut our troops in Iraq by 50% in 2008. When asked about that plan, Senator Sessions replied, I certainly hope that's what will occur. We can't sustain this level, in my opinion, in Iraq and Afghanistan much longer. Senator McConnell said, the handwriting is on the wall. Isn't that what Daniel saw in the Lion's Den? He saw the handwriting on the wall?
Yes.
And he said it's in Hebrew, for Christ's sakes. How am I supposed to read that crap?
Backwards.
Yeah, right.
Oi!
Now, what's that bit that, what's it, Lori
Earl
did?
Streitz's.
Very good. Boy, you are sharp today, I'll say that. Not as sharp as I am, but then again.
Millions have converted for fun and profit. Now you too can turn your pagan ways around at Earl Streitz's. We'll convert any goy for just $99.95. That's right. Listen to one of our successful graduates.
Boakem, Shalom, Malachi, Hashalom.
At Earl Streitz's, we'll convert anyone into a Jew.
Malakem, Hakadosh, Baruchu.
Translated means, sorry, I must have left my wallet at home.
Mimelech, Melache, Hamalachim, Hakadosh.
Translated means, stewardess, did you make sure to give me a kosher meal?
Mimelech, Mahalache, Hamalachim, Hakadosh, Baruch.
Translated, yes, Rabbi, the check is in the mail. Yes, you too can convert into a Jew for just $99.95 at Earl Streitz's. Act now and get a free yard-side candle for just $10. Earl Streitz's. We'll convert any goy for just $99.95 or more if we can.
Hamlachem. How the hell am I supposed to read backwards, for Christ's sake?
Oh, God. I'm dying over here.
All right. anytime they see that we're lacking in the polls. They provide a headline that will lead you by the nose.
Hussein, they said, is the one to get. Now they have only one dictator left. Don't worry about Sudan, we got 'em. Now we're all comfy and safe. We got 'em. We won't attack us no more. We got 'em. Praise Bush like Jesus. Who say 9/11 is what they got you to believe?
Can't get any dumber than a one-party country.
You believe what they say, like a god or fool, as they use the state, so they call it tool of the election on. We got 'em. Bush has got him killed. We got 'em. Get down on your knees. We got 'em.
12:45, breathless announcement. Remember that morning? They got him. We got him. And he was pulling bugs out of his mouth and all. Then they hanged his ass. And
it's all over, right? The troops came home victorious.
Bad news, worse news than we started the show with. 10 now, not 8. 10 American soldiers were killed in roadside bombings and a helicopter crash yesterday, making May the deadliest month of the year for U.S. troops in Iraq. They've been saying 8, and now all of a sudden, a couple more bodies over here. The American deaths raised the number of U.S. forces killed this month to at least 112. And we're closing in on 3,500 total. And not to mention, of course, the hundreds of thousands of dead Iraqis and the people with no legs and no arms and no eyes and no whatever. And like, I mean, when Cindy Sheehan throws in the towel, then you know it's there's no hope. Am I right? I don't want to sound like a defeatist. I don't want to sound like, oh, geez, he's so, But when you can't even play this.
Ain't no fart sounds anymore.
You know what I'm saying? When you can't even put a smile on somebody's face because freedom of speech is dead. And we got some self-appointed bitch over there in Naples, Florida, of all godforsaken places, determining what we can say and what we can play.
Sounds like
before. She blows. I mean, everybody knows she blows. So why even, 1,149 votes. I don't think we're going to make 1,300, Chris. I think you're like, wouldn't I tell you overshot?
You just watch.
I'm watching and waiting. Chris says 13. I say 1,250. 1,150. There you go. So with me, we need another 100 votes, an hour and 14 minutes. That's certainly very doable. With you, you need, what'd I say? You need 150.
150.
Oh, come on. You got 14 is 74. Well, it's doable. But, boy, they'd sure have to really come rally around your fat ass, I'll tell you that. They'd really have to. Look at that. There's another one, 1151. There's one. Hey, listen, you know something? I think the poll, I could be wrong about this. I can only speak from my own personal experience and my own fat ass perspective. I think the poll is one of those things that keeps me going.
Really?
The poll and some of my online friends there that give me like a little verbal inspiration and like, tough it out, baby. Just keep going. Like that.
Good.
And send along, bacon information, stuff like that. Making bacon, faking bacon, shaking and bacon. Because I was thinking during this last break, I see a lot of similarities between George W. Bush and fat-ass Jolly Joe Bell. Both their last names begin with a B. Both of them are killers. I mean, look what Jolly Joe has done to our numbers. Killed them. Destroyed them. Butchered them. Just like we got the butcher in Washington who's butchering, like living and breathing people. At least they used to be. I see a lot of similarities. Absolute incompetence. And yet both of them can put on a good public persona, like Joey Zaza. Remember that?
Sure.
Una Bella Figueroa?
Si.
Remember that scene?
Si.
They were in the casino there in Atlantic City. Sure, it's true. I make a better Bella Figura, but if you won't give, I will take. Yeah, take a bullet in the head, Joey Zaza.
Zaza.
That was a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of his, though. It's got nothing to do with the aliens.
Sure. You used to talk all about how good he was until that happened.
I did not. I never talked about how good he was. What are you talking about?
In The Untouchables and in that movie, and he was one of the few people that showed up to work in that movie, and, the rest of it stunk.
The rest, they mailed it in?
Yeah.
You think that Kevin Costner mailed it in? You know what I think? I think they mailed in his personality, and they got lost in the mail.
I was just going to say, who got
lost.
it?
You know how the post office is? They keep jacking up the price of their stamps, but, man, they keep getting stuff lost in the mail. I think they lost Kevin Costner has got to be just, I don't understand it. You can't complain about his personality. He doesn't have any. None. He's as bland as tapioca pudding. Do you ever have tapioca pudding?
Yeah, I'm not into it, thank you.
No, of course not, because it's delicious but no taste.
Weak, yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri. Boy, what a place that is, man. Missouri and Kansas. All those flat earth people out there. Well, there's a lot of flat earth people all around the world. Getchkis. Tom Wayne. I wonder if he's kin to Bruce Wayne. Has amassed thousands of books in a warehouse during the 10 years he's run his used bookstore, Prospero's Books. His collection ranges from bestsellers such as Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October and Tom Wolfe's Bonfire of the Vanities to obscure titles like A Bound Report from the 4th Pan American Conference held in Buenos Aires in 1910. But when he wanted to thin out the collection, he found he couldn't even give away books to libraries or thrift shops. They said they were full. So on Sunday, Wayne began burning his books in protest of what he sees as society's diminishing support for the printed word. Read a book, read a mother-scratching book, for crying out loud, you idiots.
Right on.
Right?
Yeah.
Read a mother effing book.
Not a sports page, not a
magazine.
But a book cracker.
But a book. Cracker.
Them too.
This is the funeral pyre for thought in America today, Wayne told spectators outside his bookstore as he lit the first batch of books. The fire blazed for about 50 minutes before the Kansas City Fire Department put it out because Wayne didn't have a permit for burning. Wayne said next time he'll get a permit. He said he envisions monthly bonfires until his supply, estimated at 20,000 books, is exhausted. I'm getting exhausted just thinking about it. After slogging through the tens of thousands of books we've slogged through and accumulate that many, and have people turn you away when you take them somewhere, it's just kind of a knee-jerk reaction. He said it's a good excuse for fun. Oh, yeah, burn a book for Jesus. Oh, look at that. There's where's that? Caracas? They shut down the TV station because they're ripping Hugo Chavez. So he shut him off the air, kind of like Silvio Berlusconi, only they voted him out. I don't think they're going to have any more elections in Venezuela anymore. He won the last one.
Right.
But I think
Or here.
Wayne said he's seen fewer customers in recent years as people more often get their information from TV or on the internets. He pointed to a 2002 study by the National Endowment for the Arts that found that less than half of adult respondents reported reading for pleasure, down from almost 57% in 1982. Less than half. Read a book, read a mother-scratching book. Kansas City has seen the number of used bookstores decline in recent years, and there are a few independent bookstores left in town, said Will Leatham, co-owner of Prospero's Books. There are segments of the city where you go to an estate sale and find 5 TVs and 3 books, he said. Well, I'll be damned. The idea of burning of the books horrified Marcia Trafford, who paid $20 Sunday to carry away an armload of tomes on art, education, and music. I've been trying to adopt as many books as I could, she said. Oh, adopt a book for Jesus, baby. It sounds good. What do you say?
Sure. Why
Dozens
not?
of other people took advantage of the book burning, searching through the books, waiting to go into the flames for last-minute bargains. Mike Bechtel paid $10 for a stack of books, including an antique collection of children's literature, which he said he'd save for his 4-year-old son. I think given the fact it's a protest of people not reading books, it's the best way to do it. He said, Wayne has made the point that not reading a book is as good as burning it. Whatever that means. He's pretty burned up about it, so he's burning them books. Because he can't give them away, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Just like the spots, you know, when you have 0 shares and 1 shares, then you're not going to be able to give them away. And so when your claim to fame is, oh, we sure got a lot of spots, we're sure making some money for these crackers. Yeah. Not when you got 0 and 1 shares, baby. Then what are you going to sell, huh? Who are you going to be talking to? Yourself? You're going to be sitting in the office and talking to yourself, selling yourself a bill of goods?
Sure.
Like, holy cow, that Ethan Skolnick. And now we got Evan Cohn on tomorrow and Thursday from 2 to 4 for Mad Dog. And on Friday, we got Geldy on from 2 to 4, right in the middle of the day when people are still awake. Even though everybody knows we don't have the Panther games anymore, and he's like a lame duck. That was duck, I said. I could have said something else. Just, you wonder. You scratch your head. Don't you wonder who wrote the Book of Love? And don't you wonder what these people are thinking about?
No, I don't. Not anymore.
What do you mean by that?
They're programming to themselves. They like it.
They likes it?
They like it. And if the numbers are low, they just need to put more sports on the air, and then, people come around.
Well, when I had that unctuous half-hour conversation with Jolly Joe last week, I think it was a week ago or yesterday, when he called me to tell me, don't play that No More Farts on, and I should have asked him...
Do you like it?
Like that. Then I might have found out. So I guess maybe you're right. Maybe he does like it. I know the Beasleys like it, because that's all Bruce Beasley knows about, man, is ball games and jock straps and the guys who wear them and guys who take showers together and that stuff, It sounds a little bit gay, although not as gay as Ethan Skolnick with those lilac candles and poopery. Oh, you really have to. Somebody has got to strap. No. Listen to me. Somebody has got to strap you into a chair and force you to listen to the audio from 8 to 8:25 this morning of the Ethan Skolnick, gay or not gay, poopery and lilac candles and lilac whatever.
I'll pass.
No,
I'll take your word for it.
You will.
I'll pass out?
Yeah. That chair will go flopping right over on the backside, I'm telling you. You'll hit the floor and head for the door when you hear Ethan Skolnick's bowel, his sports writers. See, first, it wasn't bad enough. At least the athletes, they got some kind of physical talent, or they're doing something people are paying to watch. The sports writers, nobody cares about them. Nobody. I mean, if we had like a Red Smith who's been dead for many years, or like some great sports writer, like that. Or even like a Mike Lupica, somebody ever heard of before. Am I right, Chris? Everybody heard of Mike Lupica, right?
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm not saying you like him or not, but I'm just saying you've heard of him. Somebody has some idea who he might have been, or might still be.
Hank has him on sometimes.
Well, that's unfortunate. But again, but at least somebody, like I said, knows who the hell that is, I still don't understand. Why do we need sports writers on the sports shows where we pay all this money to people to be like sports experts, right?
Well, Evan Cohen's not a sports writer.
Who said anything about him? I just said...
Well, no, you were just saying he's on the air, so...
Yeah.
I'm just saying
he's not on the air as a guest. He's not on as a guest.
Correct.
Don't you understand? In order to be a guest on this radio station, you have to be either a jock or a guy who writes about jocks. Or go around sniffing them a lot. Or drop bad bombs in the toilet, like Ethan Skolnick. What is the worst form of entertainment? That's our poll question today. We got 1169. I think 1250 sounds very, doable. And maybe you're right with the 13. I don't know. You need 131 votes in 64 minutes. That's a little over to a minute, Chris.
Have faith.
Okay. Not me. I lost my faith as a child. What's the worst form of entertainment? Rap music, 530. Professional music, professional wrestling, 182. Yeah. Professional rap music. 182 on the wrestling. Sports talk radio, 132. Boy, it is something. I can't say the word. Opera, 101. Boy, opera's making a big leap now. Reality TV, 77. Made-for-TV movie, 67. Modern art, 41. And Broadway musicals, only 39. And Charles Nelson Riley is still dead.
Gospodinov, since Fearless Leader has won, Natasha and I no longer have to look for a moose and squirrel. Instead, we listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Every time I have to look at George, I can't help noticing how much he snorts. All that cocaine rotted his brain. Inside his nose, nothing else remains of his nasal passages. That's why George always snorts. He has no nasal passages. He bought a team to inhale the third baseline. He was born into money, but he's so goddamn dumb. Without it, he would be a homeless bum. Life of the party in his college days left him with 2 cells for a brain and no nasal passages. I bought my ticket and I'm holding my passport tight.
Well, I had to dump old Chicken Neck in there because he said GD, man. He's got some nerve. Did you catch that?
No, what?
I caught it. Well, no what? How do you like that?
I wasn't listening.
Yeah, likely story. 103 at 560 WQAM. It's our big 1 to 2 hour Mad Dog coming up at 2 o'clock when we get to the important stuff, man. Sports. Now, what sports could we be talking about now?
Marlins.
Nobody cares about the Marlins. What about the NBA playoffs? They're still going on?
Yeah.
There's something. Stanley Cup Finals. Ducks beat Ottawa last night for 3-2. You think we're going to be hearing about that this afternoon?
No.
Tomorrow?
No.
4 weeks from Sukkot?
No.
Maybe Ethan Skolnick will be talking about it next when he gets his show. A relative found the bodies of a 23-year-old woman and her 4 small daughters hanging in a closet in their mobile home this morning, and this is in Texas. All of them dead, except an 8-month-old who was taken to hospital. The woman's sister, who also lived in Oak Hills Mobile Home Park, about 25 miles west of Fort Worth, found the bodies. She rescued the infant when she realized the baby girl was still alive. Fowler said that her children were ages 5, 3, and 2. All had been hanged with strips of clothing and sashes. The infant was taken to Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth, was in good condition. We're still in the process of notifying the next of kin, trying to sort this out and see just exactly what did happen, the sheriff said. He said it appeared to be a murder-suicide, but the investigation was continuing. The woman and her girls were last seen live last night. Early this morning, the woman's sister stopped by the trailer because the woman hadn't gone to work and found the bodies. The woman was believed to be separated from her husband, who's been notified of the death. Well, there's another one of those good cases for marriage, isn't it?
Sure.
Not that we know necessarily if that had anything to do with it, the fact
course
that she
not.
was separated from her husband. But they sure were making a lot of babies, I'll tell you that. And they lived in a trailer park. Dun, 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 dun. See, that's a form of prejudice, I confess. That whole trailer trash thing. I mean, what?
Right.
I'm sure we got people right now listening who live in trailers.
Sure.
They're probably good, upstanding redneck. I mean, people, you know.
Some people, it's the best they can do.
And some people like it, you know. You want to live in a trailer? Oh, jeez.
Do you like it?
Just going there. Ah, Christ. That was bad.
Sorry.
You ought to be. 1,187 votes on the poll. Now, Chris is thinking we can get another 113. He's a crazy person. Not going to happen. I'm thinking more like another 65 for 1250. And you know, and once upon a time, people would say, well, who the hell cares what they're... Now, thanks to me, I've educated the audience and made them understand that it's very important. Much more important than the 3,465 U.S. service members who've been killed in a war based on lies. Who cares about that? Evidently, not enough people, not too many.
Nope.
The Iraq War, this is from Raw Story, which for years has drawn militants from around the world, is beginning to export fighters and the tactics they've honed in the insurgency to neighboring countries and beyond, the New York Times says. According to the report, experts now say that the experience that jihadists are currently gaining in Iraq will become far more problematic than the training Muslim radicals received in Afghanistan's terrorist camps. A report written by former State Department intelligence analyst Dennis Pluchinsky in April stated, battle-hardened militants from Iraq posed a greater threat to the West than extremists who trained in Afghanistan because Iraq has become a laboratory for urban guerrilla tactics, a laboratory. Operational parallels exist between urban terrorist activity in Iraq and urban environments of Europe and the U.S., but Pluchinsky says more relevant terrorist skills are transferable from Iraq to Europe than from Afghanistan to Europe. According to the article, Jordan is one of the first to feel the effects of Iraq's exported terrorism. A terrorist plot was recently foiled in which a group of militants from Iraq planned to bomb tourists in an airport. Captured bomber Mohammed al-Darsi, a militant who sought to kill Americans in Iraq after being freed from prison in Libya, was recruited and trained by Iraqi militants for the purported Jordan attack. A recruiter he found on the internet arranged to meet him on a bridge in Damascus, but when he got there, Mr. Darcy, 24, said the recruiter told him he was not needed in Iraq. Instead, he was drafted into the war that is seeping out of Iraq. When in doubt, it is seeping out. Oh, I've had those days. Not
like
good.
Today.
Oh. Is it seeping out today? Oh. I haven't checked. I'm squirming around in the chair, though.
I'm squirting around in the chair.
No, it's squirming.
Oh.
A team of militants from Iraq had traveled to Jordan where they were preparing attacks on Americans and Jews, Darcy said the recruiter told him. He asked Darcy to join them and blow himself up in a crowd of tourists at Queen Ali Airport in Amman. Come on, let's go have a party and blow ourselves up. It'll be a blast. Furthermore, an article published in Monday's Gulf News says that members of a Palestinian militant group fighting the Lebanese military previously fought in Iraq and received training in Jordan. Primarily made of Sunni Arabs, the resistance group announced its formation last November, shortly after two of its members were arrested by the Lebanese authorities, Gulf News says. Marwan Bashara, Al Jazeera's Middle East analyst, says the group is transnational, and that many of the fighters have fought in Iraq and have trained in camps in places such as Jordan. In 2005, Iraqi Interior Minister Bayan Jabbour warned that foreign fighters training in Iraq plan to return home to carry out attacks throughout the Muslim world. He specifically indicated that Americans in Yemen and Egypt were likely targets. That's Americans in Egypt and
Yaman.
Right. See, now that we got that other thing in there, it takes an extra second to skip on down to that. 1194 on there, Chris. You're not going to make your 1300. No way, Jose. On the day after Memorial Day, you must be dreaming. You must be drinking too much of that vodka. Let me say it again in case any of the Josh Cordes fan club missed it earlier. He's going to be sitting in Georgia's seat next week when Georgia's on vacation. Now let me try to figure this out.
Okay.
If you're on vacation next week, then does my vacation start the ass end of the week after that?
The ass end of the week after that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All right. Right. Yeah. No, not that I'm looking forward to it or anything like that.
Right.
Because, that's the knock I get all the time. Oh, he's just mailing it in, and he's just looking forward to his next day off and the end of the show, all these things, I'd like to know who isn't looking forward to their next vacation. Can you tell me anybody?
People that aren't getting one.
No, but I'm talking about anybody who's got vacation time.
Right.
Who isn't looking forward to the next
vacation? That's all
vacation?
you look forward to.
Well, what else? Isn't that what life is all about when you are working stiff?
Right.
When you got to put in the kind of difficult hours I do and work your ass off? Oh, now where the hell is this double murder on Paula Zahn tonight? Boy, I hate it when they murder good-looking people, man. If they murder ugly people, it's one thing. 1198 on that poll. We need two more for 1200, and then, who knows, maybe you might prove us wrong. Boy, if Chris can pull off 1300 today, then we will fear him, I'll tell you that. Then you'll make me a believer. Because you did that twice last week on days when it looked like impossible. Just an impossible task to achieve whatever. I think you got some ringers out there. I think they are all sitting at their computers and voting over and over again,
Maybe.
You think that's what it is? You got like a staff? And you're probably paying them out of your own salary, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, a small staff. $11.99. Boy, I'm going to tell you, when that thing hits 1,200, people are going to be jumping all over town. Jolly Joe Bell's going to be jumping. Can you imagine? You'll feel it if he jumps. So he was actually in there yesterday bringing his little kid around, his daughter?
Yes.
Now, when his 5-year-old daughter, when she replacing Joyce?
6. She just turned 6.
Oh, she just turned 6. Well, like I said, she's qualified.
I'm kind of thinking what I'm thinking now would be okay. If I woke up one day and realized that I was gay. Now I like women, but it wouldn't be deplorable. State Antonio Banderas is adorable. Let me tell you what I'm wishing really ain't so queer. To want the tushies on the men with Hollywood careers. I have these fantasies of guys who play James Bond. Still I want women, so I'm wondering where my mind is gone. See, I can go both sides, but still dream of gay love. Got a million girlfriends who tell me I better give that thought up. Now who in the world wouldn't want Brad Pitt? He's the man of my dreams. I'm heterosexual, but it's getting harder and harder to be. I'm heterosexual, but it's getting harder and harder to be.
I don't think we can play that anymore. He said he's heterosexual, but it's getting harder and harder. 116 at 560. Uh-oh, there we go again. Where have we heard that before? I know where we heard it before.
Ain't no fart sounds anymore.
Oh, it just tears my guts out,
Ain't no fun.
Tears out my kishkis. It takes me back to the days of, was it Steve Nickel or Boy Gary? I guess it was Steve Nickel.
Yeah. Crumpet.
Was that one, huh?
Crumpet.
Oh, yeah, Crumpet. He got all upset
trumpet.
about the Crumpet and Trumpet and Pump It and Lump It. He's something else. Now, where did somebody tell us he wound up?
I told you he was in Oregon.
Oh, he's in Oregon. Good place for him.
Portland,
Keep going to the Great Northwest. Keep going to the Yukon, baby. North to Alaska with Johnny Horton. Boy, I sure like that song. Those were the days. I don't know so much. I guess it's both. But songs that you like from the past, from a long time ago, it's because it's from a certain part of your life, or because you actually think the song is good music. You know
Both,
what I mean?
like you said.
Both of these, all of these things.
Sure.
North to Alaska. Of course, I have no idea what year that was, and I don't know what the hell I was all happy about then. But I guess because I wasn't old like I am now.
I don't know, maybe you were giddy and gay.
I was at least gay. That part. Here's a guy that wasn't gay. At least I don't know. He's not anymore. A lot of hanging going on, man. A lot of guys are getting hung. A man committed suicide by hanging himself from a tree along I-95 near Atlantic Boulevard this morning. Northbound rush hour I-95 commuters were slowed by the sight of the man hanging from a tree to the right of the shoulder just north of the Atlantic Boulevard entrance ramp around 7 o'clock this morning. How do you like that? You're on your way to work, and here's a guy hanging from a tree. Authorities temporarily shut down the entrance ramp while they investigated. FHP Sergeant Mark Wysocki said, well, he's in a lot of these stories, Mark Wysocki.
59.
59 what?
North to Alaska.
North to Alaska. Well, where was I in 59? I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, man. I was a freaking genius. I was a member of the National Honor Society.
How do you like
deep
that?
in the closet, scared schmittless. They also closed off a portion of the right lane. Traffic has since resumed its normal traffic pattern, which means chaos. Mike Jackals, another BSO spokesman, said that man was identified as Joseph Caloza, or is that Kalotza, 40. He was reported missing. I guess after somebody's dead, it doesn't make any difference if you mispronounce their name.
Right.
Reported missing from Palm Beach County on Friday. Coleman Wright said the death appears to be a suicide. Now, what do you make about that statement? Don't you think there were only basically two possibilities?
Yeah. Oh, it could have been an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. Somebody got hurt. Seems to me, in the tradition of America, either it's a suicide or a good old lynching. You know, one of those.
Right.
And I just got a fax on here, and I thought for sure it was you, and it's some stupid ad. It's another ad fax.
Some stupid ads.
You got to stop doing that, man. They got you everywhere, no matter where you are. Pretty soon in the toilet, when Ethan Skolnick is in there making a big smelly deposit, I'm telling you, you must hear that. You've got to hear it before you die.
I'm not gonna.
Why not? Chris, I want you to tie him to a chair and force him. Get the audio from this morning between 8 and 8:25 and force this man to hear it, because you aren't believing me. You just can't. You don't understand.
I believe you.
But you don't understand the magnitude, the significance of what happened here on our air, on this radio station. You don't get it.
You know what? I'm sure it was way better than anything else that I would have wanted to hear.
Ethan Skolnick and lilac candles, baby. And where
Beautiful.
do you buy those? You go to Bed Bath & Beyond? I think way beyond.
Sure.
Way beyond.
Why not? Got my apple
and
candle here.
The obvious question is, what was Kimba Beaucamper doing at Ethan Skolnick's house or apartment or condo, wherever he hangs it out? A big butch ex-jock like Kimba Beaucamper, who up until today, I thought was like a real man. 1,214 votes on the poll. You need 86 in 40 minutes. You ain't going to do it.
We're going to do it.
You ain't going to. I'm telling you, you ain't going to do it.
Come on, people.
Come on, people. Now, didn't we go through that last week?
Yeah.
By the Stone Ponies, wasn't that it?
No.
No?
Stone Ponies was Linda Ronstadt, wasn't it?
Yeah. But who did that song? Come on, people, get together. What was that song? We went through this last week.
know.
And neither one of us, none of the three of us remember what the hell it was.
Come on, people, now smile on your brother. Everybody come together and learn to love one another right now.
Yeah.
I don't know who sings it, though. I don't think I was alive.
What is the song, though?
George is looking it up.
People. We just went through this.
I don't know the title.
How the hell are you going to look it up? How do you look it up when you only know a couple lyrics, huh? Now, if you can Google that.
By the way, that's right. You Google it with the lyrics.
You do?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You Google the lyrics?
Sure. You've never done that?
No.
There's lyrics for everything on there.
Wow.
So you just type in lyrics.
Youngbloods.
Thank you.
Youngbloods. And what is it called? What's the name of the song?
Get Together, I think is what it's called.
Get Together.
Yeah, Youngbloods, Get Together.
Well, no wonder I couldn't remember. Who the hell remembers the freaking Youngbloods, for Christ's sake? I remember the song. Okay, that's enough. It's a good song. It's okay.
Yep.
1,217 votes on the poll. The worst form of entertainment by far and away with this crowd. Rap music, man. They hate it. They despise it. They want to pee on it. 551. Oh, I can't say that.
No.
Unless Ethan Skolnick is the one doing the peeing. Because obviously if he does the other stuff, he does all those bodily functions, man. There's a bodily function at the junction. And we also need to hear a lot more about how Ethan's doing with the ladies. We had some of that in there, too, I guess. Well, why does anybody care about him? You know, he's a punk, a putz. That write. What does he write about? Baseball or something? Chris?
I believe he writes about pretty much everything because I've seen him at the Dolphins games or Dolphins camp.
How old is he? About 10?
He looks like about 10, but he's probably about in his mid-30s.
He's in his mid-30s?
I'll guess that, yeah.
He's in his mid-30s and he sounds like that? Like I've heard him on there. Oh, my God. He sounds like Menashe Skolnick. See, that's for Chicken Neck. He and I are the only ones old enough, and, we're part of that crowd. And he's not even Jewish. Paul Krugman writes, do I have time for this before the break? I don't know. Trust and betrayal. That sounds like what's happening at QAM. Mistrust and betrayal. In this place where valor sleeps, we're reminded why America's always gone to war reluctantly, because we know the cost of war. That's what President Bush said last year in a Memorial Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. Those were fine words spoken by a man with less right to say them than any president in our nation's history. For Mr. Bush took us to war not with reluctance, but with unseemly eagerness. Now that war has turned into an epic disaster, in part because the war's architects, whom we now know were warned about the risks, didn't want to hear about them. Yet Congress seems powerless to stop it. How did it all go so wrong? Future historians will shake their heads over how easily America was misled into war. The warning signs, the indications we had a rogue administration determined to use 9/11 as an excuse for war, were there for those willing to see them right from the beginning, even before Mr. Bush began explicitly pushing for war in Iraq. In fact, the very first time Bush declared a war on terror that will not end until every terrorist group of global reach has been found, stopped, and defeated, people should have realized he was going to use the terrorist attack to justify anything and everything. When he used his first post-attack State of the Union to denounce an axis of evil consisting of 3 countries that had nothing to do with either 9/11 or with each other, alarm bells should have gone off. But the nation, brought together in grief and anger over the attack, wanted to trust the man occupying the White House, and so it took a long time before Americans were willing to admit to themselves just how thoroughly their trust had been betrayed. It's a terrible story, yet it's also understandable. I wasn't really surprised by Republican election victories in 2002 and 2004. Nations almost always rally around their leaders in times of war, no matter how bad the leaders and no matter how poorly conceived the war. The question was whether the public would ever catch on. Well, to the immense relief of those who spend years trying to get the truth out, they did. Last November, Americans voted overwhelmingly to bring an end to Mr. Bush's war, yet the war goes on. To keep the war going, the administrations brought the original boogeyman back out of the closet. At first, Mr. Bush said he'd bring Osama bin Laden in, dead or alive. Within 7 months after 9/11, however, he lost interest. I wouldn't necessarily say he's at the center of any command structure, he said in March of 2002. I'm not truly that concerned about him. In all of 2003, Mr. Bush, who had an unrelated war to sell, made public mention of the man behind 9/11 only 7 times. But Osama's back. Last week, Mr. Bush invoked his name 11 times in a single speech, warning that if we leave Iraq, Al-Qaeda, which wasn't even there when we went in, will be the winner. And Democrats, fearing that they'll end up accused of being weak on terror and not supporting the troops, gave Bush another year's war funding. Democratic Party activists were furious because polls show a public utterly disillusioned with Mr. Bush and anxious to see the war ended. But it's not clear that the leadership was wrong to be cautious. The truth is that the nightmare of the Bush years won't really be over until politicians are convinced that voters will punish, not reward, Bush-style fear-mongering, and that hasn't happened yet. Here's the way it ought to be. When Rudy Giuliani says that Iran, which had nothing to do with 9/11, is part of a movement that's already displayed more aggressive tendencies by coming here and killing us, he should be treated as a lunatic. When Mitt Romney says that a coalition of Shia and Sunni and Hezbollah and Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood and Al-Qaeda wants to bring down the West, he should be ridiculed for his ignorance. And when John McCain says that Osama, who isn't in Iraq, will follow us home if we leave, he should be laughed at. But they aren't, at least not yet, and until belligerent, uninformed posturing starts being treated with the contempt it deserves, men who know nothing of the cost of war will keep sending other people's children to graves at Arlington. That's Paul Krugman's take. 26 after 1 at QAM.
Now here's Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
My bad. Well, you know, we got to audition everything, even the rejoin.
Tim McVeigh, he's on trial for that fateful day. I am sure he's guilty as O.J. Do you believe in Tim McVeigh?
No.
Dave Koresh thought he'd stand up to the IRS. Janet Reno and the ATF. He took a beating in the press. Why'd he place that bomb and cause so much strife? Will he get the chair or instead will he get life timidly? Paranoid about the USA. Heard a rumor that he might be gay, according to Mike 48. I hate the government just as much as most of you, but I'm not ignorant, though I have a low IQ. Militiamen, most of them are doing 8 to 10. They can't have their weapons in the pen. Will Tim McVeigh be joining them?
I'm dying over here.
133-2702. Boy, it's kind of ominous music there at the end, isn't it? The way that, just very ominous sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean by that? Now, since you were on yesterday, of course you were playing all that music, but have you noticed as you go through the DCS, because I'm finding it muy difícil now as I go through here, to find anything we can play anymore.
It is a challenge.
Yeah, and that's pretty sad commentary because we've got, about 85 million bits in here and the sounds and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we got them all over the place, but sounds like that, it can't do that.
And some of us already went to great lengths to make sure that nothing unsavory ever got in there in the first place. And
that's right, when you stop and think about that.
Ain't no fart sounds anymore.
Because of some skanky, nasty hoe. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, this business about Imus. Well, what does Imus have to do with anything other than CBS caved in and to a sponsor pressure? That's all. It has nothing to do with Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or any of that crap. They were still, they suspended him for a while over that crap. And then all of a sudden when the sponsors started to cancel, bye, Don. Bye, I-Man. That was it. Even bald-headed Tom Jicker wrote that here a few days ago. I read his thing the other day and it made me want to cry. Made me want to just cry. Because he's right. The business is finished, baby. And so that what you did yesterday, maybe that's what I should start doing. What do you think? We ought to do a poll on that. If Neil played music, not all of the show, just 95% of it.
We'd still have a higher number than the rest of the station.
You think?
I know.
You mean higher than a 1 or a 2?
Yeah, a 1, a 2.
It's Lawrence of Walker Radio, a 1, a 2, or 3. Here we go. 1,238 votes on the poll. You're thinking 13. I'm thinking you're crazy. I told you that, Chris. You won't listen to me, man.
1239.
1239. You need 61 votes in 25 minutes. That is, you would need them coming in now in chunks.
Come on, people, help me out.
It's not going to happen.
It'll happen.
I said 1250, and it's going to be a little over that, I think, but I was pretty damn close to it. I've been doing this a long time, man. A long time. I've been checking out polls for a long time.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, and I'm proud to tell you. Every now and then I find a good one. 1240. That's WGVA in Geneva again. I ought to play Young Neil. Not. No, but you're right. I'm glad that you agree with me on that because I'm beginning to think it was just me.
No.
Because, when every break comes and you start scouring through there to try to find something, not necessarily recent.
And even sometimes you'll play something that you're convinced is very innocuous.
Right,
and
like
surprise!
That Marlin thing that one day. And I was sitting there taking a leak and the thing is on. And oh, geez, and I'm hearing, and I come running back in here, Remember that one?
Sure.
I could play it for you now.
Do it.
I don't think so.
I think I'll get up and leave, too.
Ain't no Marlins anymore. And that's the other thing. The Marlin games are, that's a dead duck because we know we're not having them next year. The Panthers are over. And Geldy, as a result, is a dead duck. And that's why we're sticking his ass on there on Friday between 2 and 4 because Mandis is off the rest of the week after today. You think I got a tough schedule. What was he work, 14 days a year, something like that?
I believe that's his contract.
Yeah, his contract stipulates he works 8 days a year, and the rest of it is like, if he shows up, good luck to us.
12:45.
12:45. Now you're starting to get a little goose there, man. You can't pass up a good goose. Still 12:45. So you need 55 votes in 24 minutes. That's more than 2 a minute, though. Well, which ordinarily, if we had, back in the day when we had that gigantic audience once upon a time, like before Joe Bell came on. I'm not saying that don't get me wrong. I am not saying that he is the problem, because Greg Reed is the one who broke the big egg long before there was any Jolly Joe Bell when he was back over there at kissing it. But nonetheless, he came along here and he's like he tells me at the end of every one of our adversarial phone calls. I don't know what to tell you, Neil. That's always the last comment. I don't know what to tell you. And I always come back by saying, well, who does? Who does know? And bada beep, bada boop, bada bop, bada bop, 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 and there's nothing. That's the end of it. There is no conclusion. There is just a contusion on my brain. 12:47, 53 needed in 23 minutes. Just ain't good. I'm telling you. See, you're leading me down a path toward the depression here because we're going to fall short, and then I'm going to be depressed even though I said 12:50, which we're going to make that. And then some, with some gravy on top.
Why would I try to lead you to...
I don't know, because you won't listen to me. I mean, who the hell... What do I know? Look, let's face it.
It's not like I'm trying to, make you so sad that you croak and then I get to split half of George's...
Half of nothing is still nothing.
Half of George's inheritance,
I got news for you. What George would give to you, you could stick in a thimble and have room for the German army left over. Okay?
What I'm going to get is already spent anyway, so...
Well, what does that mean? What
it's going to soak up a little bit of the debt.
Sounds like everybody's getting ready to have a funeral march here, for Christ's sakes.
Okay, we do that?
I'll die for you. I'll die.
I'm dying over here.
Everybody happy now? See, I could trick you all, man. I could check out the reactions. I could fake my death being 1,200 miles away, and you would never even know.
Right? No, I wouldn't. Don't die.
What are you talking about? Didn't he just say he's already spent the money that I told him I'm leaving him?
It's reverse psychology.
Well, I didn't actually spend it, but it's spent.
I'm spent. Let me just click this baby one more time before we go to break. 12:53. Oh, your people are trying for you, man. When I click it and there's like an increase of 6 and 10 and 150, whatever, 12:53. You need 47 votes in 22 minutes, and it ain't going to happen. But I'd love to see it. From my ass to your elbow, but I don't think it's going to happen. Do you?
I have faith.
Okay.
I can't get over what that Huey said today. He's got a lot of noise to talk about me that way. I don't give a crap what that Ferry has to say. If he wants to smoke pink cigars, then let him. Why, I'll have you know, I know what I'm talking about. Every morning at the condo, I take the elevator down, and on my way to the car, when I pull my folding basket out, I grab a free condo paper. The boys are back in town. 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 I said the boys are back in town. Why, you leave? I'm the god of all you sport old fools. I know everything that's going on in the news. Why, I even know all the new Mahjong rules. I'm hip to the jive, Daddy-O.
Too bad they're going down today. It's a better show when I take your place. I know I ain't no Ed Hoyley, but when they drop, my voice will change.
You little smoothie.
$1:45 at QAM.
Ain't no port sound
anymore. I figured that would revitalize everybody. Just a little tiny bit, a little pickup.
Sure enough.
We were really doing some phenomenal things on that poll there, Josh. I mean, Chris, whatever your name is. But I thought that
That's okay,
you might
Howard.
do it. But not going to happen. Just stuck at 1273. I think Eric is playing with you. I think once we got to the point, they were coming in nice big chunks. I kept checking there in 1273. I thought, mathematically, this man's got a chance. He's got a shot. But nevertheless, it's not going to happen. You got 15 minutes to get 27 votes. Well, that's actually less than 2 a minute. But it just stalled out there. If Fat Eric would take his foot off the brake and let those votes, let the sun shine in, baby.
Damn you, Eric.
Yeah. You Schmidt-disturber up there in Orlando. What the hell's wrong with you? And how's that? You know that's not possible, is it?
What?
There's all those chunks of votes coming through like several people are. I mean, we're not talking dozens. We're not talking hundreds. We're talking ones, 27 times 1 is what we're talking. There's one. There's another one. Oh, God, this is exciting. 1274, 1275. Wow. Chris needs 25 votes in 14 minutes. 1277, there's a couple. There's a pair. A lovely pair, if I say so myself. Shaved. 1278, there's another one. See, now they're finally coming through for you. You'll make it. Or not. And if not, we'll see you one of these days. 146, 14 till 2. The pet food company that recalled 60 million cans of contaminated dog and cat food repeatedly made harassing phone calls to pet owners who had lawyers and said they didn't want to talk even after a judge ordered the firm to leave them alone, court records show. How do you like that? Mm-hmm. First they try to poison your pets, and then they called and hassled you on the phone if you had a lawyer. Lawyers from 6 firms representing clients who claimed their pets were harmed by Menu's pet food asked a federal judge in New Jersey to stop Menu from bullying people who had called the company since the recall was announced March 16. U.S. District Judge Noah Hillman in Camden, New Jersey, which is a horrible place, agreed with the plaintiffs describing the calls as aggressive, according to a transcript of the hearing obtained by USA Today. It's one thing for 2 people to sit down at the table, especially if it's a square table, and voluntarily agree to settle their case. It's another thing to harass people on weekends through automated phone calls, Hillman said to Edward Ruff of Pretzel and Stouffer, Menu's lawyer. Pretzel and Stouffer is the name of a law firm?
Why not?
Hillman ordered Menu Foods to have no contact with anyone who believes their animal was injured by its product unless a lawyer representing them is involved. Ontario, Canada-based Menu Foods has hired Crawford & Company, an insurance adjuster in Atlanta, to contact pet owners who called the company to report animal illnesses or deaths. At a previous hearing Friday, May 18th, the judge had cautioned Menu and Crawford that they should not contact people who would join one of the lawsuits against the company. Legally, Menu cannot contact those plaintiffs directly, must go through their lawyers. But in affidavits presented in court last week, pet owners said they received calls that weekend from Crawford representatives who pressed them to answer questions, even after being told the owners had hired lawyers. In some cases, the pet owners also received multiple calls from Crawford's computerized phone banks after telling representatives they were represented by attorneys. How do you like that? You got a lawyer, we're going to call and bug the crap out of you if your animal's dead or not. What is that?
Oops.
What was that supposed to be?
Shoe fly pie. And apple pan dowdy.
And apple pan dowdy.
Yeah.
BSO Pigs Radar, Sheridan Street, east of Flamingos. That's Pete the board op. Hey, Pete, you're a good guy, but get a life already, will you please? He's got to be pushing, 80 years old by now?
Hey, he's a fine contributor.
No, he is. He's a good... I just got through saying he's a good guy, but Jesus, God almighty. Like that's a bulletin. 1298? How the hell did that happen? I think Chris has got the fixin' on this. 1299.
Yeah, fixins?
Next one, huh?
He's got the fixins? I'll bet.
That was 1300. Thank you, everybody.
1302.
Look at that.
He's got polls.
This is some kind of a game they're playing with me. They're not doing it so much for you. They're doing it against me, as if I care.
Yeah, against
like I want to see a lower number. No, but that's what the deal
I know.
is. If I say they can't do it, then Chris says they can. They're going to do it just to piss me off. Oh, gee, I'm so upset.
If you wanted to see a low number, you'd just look at the last ratings book.
There you go again. Now, tomorrow ordinarily would be Woodbine Wednesday, for me.
Right.
It will not.
Alrighty then.
Unless you insist.
I'm not going to insist.
No, but you were the one. Everybody else has been saying, well, no, not everybody. One of my correspondents here said, play the nickels. They don't seem to understand playing nickels and pennies when you make a few bucks. It's not fun because it's not significant. You're not going to win anything that's going to, mean anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Am I right?
You're right.
Everything is relative.
That's right.
So, go win some money and give it to your relatives. But I don't know. I'm not going.
Good.
And I already had my mind made up until you started like, oh, yeah, you're going to do it. You're going to go again.
Well, so you're supposed to defy me. See, that's the strategy there.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to say, I'll show you, you little spick. I'm not going to go.
I don't really care whether you like it, who are you,
I don't want you spending any of my money.
I mean, Mommy is dead. Now, can you only, that's right. That is the correct answer, okay? I get that all the time.
I'll bet.
From one of your very close personal
I'm sure
friends.
You do. That's why I said it. That's right.
Okay? Yeah. In fact, I was sitting there last Wednesday at a machine, and my BlackBerry, and it's your close personal friend who's in Tennessee at the moment.
Yeah.
with his lady friend and her family, and I'm not too happy about your gambling away all my money.
That's right.
And now you're chiming in. That's the appropriate answer. I'm not happy about you gambling away all the money you're going to leave me when you croak, and by the way, please do it fairly soon.
Oh,
something like that. Oh, well. You know, when you're getting toward the end of the line, what are you going to do? You just do the best you can, especially when you're working for a horseball outfit like this one. I mean, you know, I don't know why because I'm stupid, I guess. I keep asking the same question like I did last year at about the same time. When is this man going to get off of his fat ass and do something? Please, Cracker, please do something. Give us a little something to hang on to besides just that paltry paycheck I get every 2 weeks. 13-12, man, you're off to the races now. They must love you. I don't know what that is.
Thank you, everybody.
No, I'm serious. They're just obsessed with Chris. I don't know what that deal is. That's
ever since I had to screen calls.
Oh, yeah. Is that what they're doing? They're giving you a sympathy vote?
Exactly.
I might have to do that again someday if I ever decide to take calls again.
Okay.
Don't hold your breath. 1,312 votes. The worst form of entertainment, rap music, 583. Professional wrestling, 208. Sports talk radio, 141, a very embarrassing third. Opera, 112. Reality TV, 109. Made-for-TV movies, 70. Modern art, 45. And Broadway musicals, 44. Out of a staggering 1,314 votes. What did I tell you? What did I say right at the beginning? 1,300, didn't I?
Yeah, uh-huh.
You just wait till tomorrow. Wait a minute. False alarm. There's a stunt rejoin. Stunt rejoin. Even I got panicky.
She's got the lowest ratings on the evening news. Even against reruns of Hee-Haw she's lose. CBS executives are feeling sick. Nobody is watching Katie Couric. There are rumors that she's a cougar in the sack. But she can't be happy because she's way in the back. Bet she wants to bash her head in with a brick. Nobody is watching Katie Couric. Katie can't be dancing or Williams. Pounding down the pesto and the tongue. Bet she wishes she never left the Today Show. Cause on CBS she's hitting all-time low. SpongeBob SquarePants has better numbers on Nick. Nobody is watching Katie Couric. Katie, poor news lady. Katie, future shady. Katie, poor news chick. Nobody is watching Katie Couric. So you long as more people watching. People'd rather hear Sanjaya sing. Oi! She's mean and nasty on the set of CBS. She gives all of the crew diarrhea and stress. Crazy little earring-wearing lunatic. Nobody is watching Katie Couric.
Hey, how low can Katie's ratings go? They are way too low.
Man, I bet they wish they had their rabbit back. Cause they need a lion to get things on track. But if they can't get him, how about Alan Fick? Cause nobody is watching Katie Couric.
She's going down like the Titanic.
Down, way down.
Nobody's watching Katie Couric.